out of a wild card spot, just like that.
I know, I'll give him a lot of credit. I think, and then Tuesday for you, or Wednesday, maybe after they had not gotten even in the series against the Mariners, like the hope for the playoffs for me had faded. I was just about like, well, is there a way to build this team where you can still be competitive this year, but you don't buy for just this year? It felt like it had slipped away because of the losing streak, because of the lack of offense, all the reasons that we had mentioned on the show. 3 games outside a wild card spot at the All-Star break, if they maintain that over the final 3 games this weekend. I mean, the second you want to give up, they're just dragging you back in. You don't have to fully buy back in yet. You can wait till they get back to 500. You can wait till they're back in a wild card spot. But I watch this team now, and I'm back reinvested back into every game, back seeing if they can win every game, Gold, because they've given it life again. They've given it some, even if you don't think they're making the playoffs still, you have to at least consider it again, which a week ago was very hard to do.
Well, it's fun to watch again. Winning is fun. Back-to-back nights with walk-offs. Who doesn't like walk-off hits?
I do like that.
Jack Caglianone hitting 466-foot home runs. That's also pretty fun to watch, pretty fun to hear. This is how it sounded last night, by the way.
Falter delivers, and Caglianone blasts it. Deep center field. Cruz is back. He looks up. It's way out of here. Jack Caglianone's second home run at Kauffman Stadium is a moonshot to dead center. 466 feet. 110.8 off the bat. Whoa. A 2-run homer for Jack Caglianone. The Royals lead 3-0 in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Back-to-back games with home runs. Okay. All righty.
Little something going.
Let's go.
By the way, did he get all of it? Is 466 everything he can get?
No.
What is your guess for the longest home run Jack Caglianone hits in his major league career? Because I'll be honest, I thought I got under that one.
488.
I might guess like 502 or something. I might be in the fives. And I am very aware of how rare actual 500-foot home runs are in a real, honest-to-God baseball game. I understand that doesn't happen. But I just watched him hit 466 to center, and I'm not totally sure he got all of it. Dude, he almost hit crown vision. It was real close.
Yeah, it went over 2 walls. It went over the first fence, the regular outfield fence, then that little green, batter's eye thing or whatever.
Fence.
And then it was very close to the base of that crown vision.
Like, I can't even imagine. It would have looked like remember how impressed we were by the Aaron Judge home run? It would have looked like that one had he just hit it to a different part of the field.
Oh, if there was like
center deceives how impressive that
Yeah, I think that's right. Like if it was to right field, it was Rivals. It would have gone on top of Rivals. You know what I mean, or over Rivals, I guess.
Yes.
Or something.
It just hit the roof at Rivals. It was an impressive home run. Everyone saw 466 feet written out. We understand. I'm just saying, if it had gone to like left or right that distance, in his case, right, you would have been even more blown away by the distance of it. So, yeah, pretty happy that Jack Caglianone, and look, maybe this goes back to what you had said, I think a good point 2 days ago, which is if Salvador Perez and Bobby Witt Jr. and Vinny Pasquantino are doing the heavy lifting for the offense, and you're not the savior. Because I want to remind everybody, when Jack Caglianone came up to the bigs, they had specifically said their hope was that they could call him up when the offense was humming, and he was just another key to the cog. They didn't call him up when the offense was humming. The offense was garbage when they called him up, and it stayed garbage for 3 weeks while he was a big league player. And now what? I think it's a coincidence that all of a sudden, now that the offense is performing, the offense is doing some things on its own, that maybe it's getting a little bit easier for Jack Caglianone. And I'm not saying he's like lighting the world on fire, although I still think this just goes back to the automatic balls and strike stuff. Watching him strike out in that first at bat, when he took 2, when they're like, hey, don't be such a free swinger, Jack. We want you to know the zone. And he has to watch both strike 1 and strike 3 called strikes that are balls. You're like, well, how's he supposed to learn the zone if when he watches a pitch go by that is a ball, it gets called a strike? That just goes back to the other thing. But I don't think it's a coincidence that the offense is playing well. Now Jack Caglianone is also hitting better.
Well, I think it's just the pressure is off of him because the guys that you need to count on and they should lean on, and the vets that have been part of this, the vets that carried the team last year, they're now doing their part. They're all hitting at the same time, Vinny, Bobby, and Salvi, of course. And so now you just go out there and hopefully play baseball. And I don't know if it's going to continue the rest of the season for Jack or not, but this is a really, really promising sign that he just has to feel 1,000% better about
Weight
just
off his shoulders,
his standing, his confidence, just like all of it, like whatever you want, pressure and just, being down on yourself, all of that, like that has to be almost completely flipped now based off the last couple days. And a lot of that just has to do with the team winning.
Yeah, that's what helps. Because when he came up and he wasn't hitting, they were losing and he wasn't hitting. Now it doesn't, if you're winning, it doesn't matter if you go 0 for 4. It's a lot easier. Look, there are very few players I've covered. There are a few. There are very few players I've covered that they go 0 for 4 and the team wins 10-1 and they're upset. Versus vice versa. They go 4 for 4 and the team loses 10-1 and they're super happy. Most players operate in if the team won, I'm in a pretty good. I've known a couple of players that were not that way, sadly. That they could go 0 for 4 in a 10-1 victory and they were still pissed. And you're like, no, it doesn't need to be that way. The key is you're contributing because his home run ends up mattering, right? You win a walk-off game, you win a 1-run game each of the last 2 nights. You're responsible for a 2-run home run and a 1-run home run. You weren't the guy who got the walk-off, but they needed your runs to get the win in each of the last 2 days. That's got to feel good.
It's crazy. Look, last year's team did not rely on the home run ball, but it is wild, as disastrous at home as June was. They had 1 win, right, in the month of June? Were they 1-12 or whatever?
At home?
At home, at the K.
Yeah.
And then to see this series to start the month of July, and I understand it's against the Pirates, okay? I get that, but they can only play who they can play, and so far on this homestand, they've only played the Pirates. All of a sudden, the home runs, I mean, that's what we always joke about, it gets warmer out and that kind of stuff. I mean, it was warm in June too. I might add, it was warm.
It was pretty warm. I remember some warm days.
June was kind of hot as well.
Wait a second, are you sure?
So I just what the heck has changed in July from the power numbers? We know the overarching thing is hit with runners in scoring position. Mm-hmm. And ironically enough, weren't they at one point last night 1 for 7?
Yeah, they were
with runners in scoring position. I believe heading into the 6th or 7th inning yesterday. So the home runs have definitely been a big part. And we're going to talk at 11 o'clock about still, all right, now that you have 3-4 guys hitting offensively, even more reason to still be interested in a long-term trade acquisition that helps you offensively. This should make that. I still am out on the rental thing. I still don't believe this team is not 10 over 500 where I'm fine with buying off rental players. I still don't think that is a smart path to go down if I am the Royals front office. I'm fine with going and getting a bat. Totally fine with that, but it cannot be a rental.
Multiple years of control.
As exciting as what this last week has been for them, and they're playing a heck of a lot better baseball offensively, and they're winning games, I don't want them trading for a guy that is going to be here for 2 months.
Sorry, I had to take my Bobby glasses off so I could read Baseball Reference. The sunglasses are a little too dark. This is the other part of it is, we had a lot of conversations, and I think fairly so, in the early part of the season of, has the age finally just fully caught up with Salvador Perez, and we are seeing the official, it's over. And we got to look at, Carter Jensen's, by the way, hit incredibly well
doing
in
a nice job in AAA.
He's hitting homers. He's hitting for average. He's getting on base. And so, I was worried we were going to be in August starting to have the conversations of, is it going to be easy to walk on Salvador Perez because Carter Jensen's right there on the doorstep, and we can start having conversations around that. Salvador Perez turned a season around starting now when they need the wins. He was, and I don't have to give you the stats, awful in April, March, and May. He was really bad in those. In June, he hit .255 with a .305 on base, had 5 homers and 17 RBI. And now already in July, in just 9 games, he has 4 home runs, is hitting .371 with a .389 on base percentage and a .1217 OPS. Since June, so exactly a month, since June 8th, he's got a 900 OPS and a bunch of homers. And so, if Salvi getting hot is maybe the best out of any of the hitters, Vinny's been producing for a while, Bobby's been producing for a while, but Salvi was so bad those first few months in the middle of your order, it was a black hole getting to anywhere. Salvi's getting hot again. So, maybe I counted Salvi out too soon? But the real question is always, can he maintain this? I
mean, that's the question still with the entire group. Right now, this is a lot of fun. This is a lot like last year and what they're doing offensively and the guys that are being involved offensively. And then we'll see. It's only 2 games, but if Jack were to get going, of course, that changes everything. But yeah, I mean, Salvador Perez throughout his career has been a streaky hitter. I would say, though, this year in particular, it took him a lot longer to get going. Normally, like, hey, in April or May, that's slow, but then he gets hot in June. You said his numbers were better in June, but what he's done in July, this is Salvador Perez. Like,
his numbers in June are probably more like career numbers.
What he's doing in July, this is him being hot. Right now, Salvador Perez, as we sit here on July 10th, is a hot hitter.
Yes.
And it's obviously much needed for them heading into an All-Star break. And we're going to see what they do against the Mets this weekend. It's a very good Mets team. I guess maybe you get a break because the Mets are playing a doubleheader today while you have an off day, and so maybe that sets up their bullpen worse, depending on what
they might get lucky.
Depending on what they do, you know. But it's a Mets team that's one of the better teams in baseball. I think, as I said, they're like a half game out. I think it's the Phillies who are leading the NL East.
Text line mentioning a player, by the way, from the 816.
Okay.
By the way, Garcia steadily going under the radar, still hitting every game. Totally agree on that. Can we say something about Mike?
This has gotten ridiculous.
It's
all right?
unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
On Monday, it was one thing. We were sitting here, and then, look, your team is below 500. You're not getting 5 All-Stars, okay? In fact, even the Tigers just now got their 5th All-Star due to an alternate. So you're not getting 5 All-Stars on a team that's 4 or 5, under 500. Bobby and Chris Bubich, of course, are All-Stars. And Bobby might end up starting after all this because Jacob Wilson got hit by a pitch. He did not fracture his wrist, fortunately. Jacob Wilson did not. But they still might hold him out. We'll see. There's a chance Bobby, because of an injury, ends up starting. But anyway, Maikel Garcia wasn't picked initially. We both thought that was a snub.
Yeah, but okay.
Then
it's a close call.
Then Alex Bregman, because he's hurt, needed an alternate. Okay, there's an opportunity. Nope, they picked somebody else for the alternate. You're like, wow, that's ridiculous. But all right, Junior Caminero, and he's in the home run derby. All right, really nice player. Then yesterday, it's another alternate slot for an infielder available. He gets passed over again. Now, he got passed over, I believe, for a member of the Detroit Tigers, who are the best team in baseball, and maybe it's as simple as that. But if you just compare WAR and some of the metrics, not every single one, but some of the metrics for Maikel compared to the 2 alternates, Maikel's been the better player. I guess it truly is just down to if the Royals were in first place in their division, Maikel Garcia would be an All-Star. But it's crazy that 3 opportunities to get in, and he's been passed over, and he's clearly not getting in now.
I try not to get over. I get it because the team's not 40 games over 500 or whatever at the All-Star break. Just continually overlooking a player like that it's offensive. And look, he's just saying he's taking the high road on social media. I've seen a couple of his little God's plan or it is what it is.
Yes.
Just saying you know what? I'm not going to let this deter me. But when you work that hard at your craft and then you have the year you're having, to get overlooked 4 times in a row, it's stupid. And you're right. The first one I could have made the argument for, right? I thought Maikel Garcia should have been the All-Star over him. But hey, I'm sure the fan of the other team thought differently. The second time, I'm like, I think he was definitively better than that player. So this one's a little more egregious, but fine. You want to make another argument because of home runs and RBIs. All right, I'm going to let this go. The third time getting passed over is stupid. It's now you're just leaving him off of the list because he's not a household name, but the guys you're replacing him with aren't household names either, and that part is just silly.
913-586-7965, the Jay Southland Tow Service text line. Do you buy into this? A few people have texted it in, and it would be a small percentage, but I do always wonder in the back of my mind. We know Aaron Boone is the manager for the AL squad. We also know Jazz Chisholm, Maikel Garcia had the beef and everything like that.
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
His cause for these alternate slots?
Why wouldn't that be in play?
I think it's part of it. I think it's a small part, but I think it's part of the equation, along with the team not being above 500 and all that. But from an individual
team, they hate each other.
In an individual standpoint, Maikel Garcia, he's not even the third alternate. That's crazy.
You know what? Honestly, not something that had come to mind right away because I'm like, I don't like to think that there's some deep state conspiracy versus just every manager doesn't know the game as well, or these decisions are being made with multiple people or in conjunction with Major League Baseball. I absolutely now think that is part of the equation. If you can find any comparable player with the guy who doesn't hate my guy, Jazz Chisholm, then I'm going to do that. Matter of fact, get the AL managers out of there and just go legend guys. Guys who are out of Ned Yost.
Oh, I wasn't thinking that. I wasn't thinking
American League.
Okay, I wasn't thinking legendary managers. I'm thinking legendary players get to manage the All-Star game.
Also cool. Fine with that.
Imagine if Ken Griffey Jr. I love how we both went there first.
Yeah.
I mean, for our age,
dude, just 90s legendary player.
Ken Griffey Jr. is the manager of the AL All-Stars. You know how badass that would be? That's you want to add some more fun to the All-Star week and weekend. That would be really cool. Pick legendary former MLB players to be the manager in the All-Star game. Also, if you're an actual manager, let Aaron Boone have a couple days off. You know what I mean?
He's actively working. Ken Griffey Jr.'s got time between his photography
He's
work,
doing all that photography. Yeah, that's true.
Him and Randy Johnson. Weird that two of the best players of my generation are just like picked up a big camera and were like, this is fun. And they shoot sports, but they also like, you'll see Randy Johnson's got like a thriving wildlife photography business or whatever. So it's just like not something you'd necessarily expect. But yeah, no, I absolutely think it's part of it. Even if Major League Baseball is stepping in, they're not going to be the Major League Baseball is not going to pound the table and be like, tell Aaron Boone, it's gotta be Maikel Garcia. They're not going to do that. I think that's probably part of it.
And I don't 100% know exactly, in fairness, how the alternates are selected. I kind of assume the manager's involved in that. I don't know if they go off of the original fan vote stuff, because that's where, at the time, we pointed out how ridiculous. Maikel Garcia was 7th in fan voting, but I don't know what factor that has now that we're post-selection and it's alternates. Is Aaron Boone or Major League Baseball, I guess, if we're being real, are they just saying, all right, well, for alternates, let's get what the fans want? And Maikel, unfortunately, just didn't have any votes because, between national fans and even locally, I guess, did not vote enough for Maikel Garcia. The fact that he played multiple positions probably helped. There was, I guess, multiple things that you could use as an excuse, but it is kind of crazy. If this team was, 5 games above 500 or close in the divisional race, I think Maikel Garcia would have been in.
I just think you take it out of that. If he was a New York Yankee, he'd be in. Mm-hmm. If he were a Houston Astro, he'd be in. If he were a Dodger, he'd be in. This is about market. And this is why we get offended by it. And this is why we loved so much when we ruined and changed the All-Star game voting.
Vote Omar.
And you all got mad at us. Well, the reason why we had to do that one time and did that one time for Vote Omar is because every other time it's given a choice for who you choose. If this player was in a different market, he'd be in the All-Star game already. Or if, I don't know, Jazz Chisholm was a little bit less of a baby, he'd be in the All-Star game already. And unfortunately for Maikel Garcia, he's got to watch it at home like everyone else, and that just seems unfair.
Video stream is up and running, by the way. You can watch us. Make sure you subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, that we don't miss any of the shows. You can see we are rocking the Whittison gear today. Someone did say, 2 different texts. One says, Alex looks like the guys in the ski parking lot that smell like weed and Fireball.
That's
and use the word shred and gnar.
Right.
The wig definitely looks more skater-ish, skier, whatever you want to use that. And then, but yeah, someone else says they think I should grow my hair out long. That will definitely not happen. That will definitely not. It's one thing to have the goatee and mustache for Sunday, and that's coming in strong, I feel like.
That's going to look good on Sunday.
It'll be good by the time we get to Sunday when I shave everything but the stash and the goatee. But the hair itself, the hair is never going to be this long in my life, ever.
No?
Ever.
Not going to go? No. Was it ever? Did you have like long hair when you were
as a baby or as a kid? No.
I never had long hair either. I don't even have like other than just
I told you, like Drew, I still swear, Drew could have, some of the photos back in the day with the clothes and the old profile pic, I think Drew could have had the long skater hair and everything.
It wouldn't be out of the question.
My hair I never grew my hair out. It was always short. No.
You're just saying it would have fit.
I don't know.
I don't know that it would have ever fit your vibe as a person. I've only known you
looking at the wig now. I think it fits. It fits gold. I would say if your hair was that long.
I don't think it would have fit him as a kid. I don't think it fits him now. I don't think long hair was ever going to be like Alex's look. Could you imagine him with one of those tiny little man buns or something?
Oh gosh,
little pony.
Wait, so for the Casey Curran media
bun,
game,
no chance.
No, yeah, not the man bun.
Should I wear the wig for the Casey Curran media game?
Yeah, maybe.
That might be a bit much.
I mean, it might fall off, which would be hilarious.
Yeah, it's going to be probably hard to operate.
I mean, it would be
we'll
hilarious.
save that for the people who are there on Sunday.
Yeah, True.
A little away from the Royals, and we'll talk more about the Wittizens stuff and give you an update on where those things are and some college football as well. But Trey Smith was on Up and Adams, who apparently gets every Chiefs player the planet on her podcast, and credit to her. But we've mentioned the deadline before. July 15th, they have to have a long-term deal done with Trey Smith, or he has to play under the franchise tag
Tuesday
for the entire year and thus risk the Chiefs losing him in free agency the following year and having to pay the full freight franchise tag number for him this year. Now they're only 5 days away from the deadline. He spoke to Kay Adams, and of course, she asked about the upcoming deadline.
You got tagged this offseason. I want to talk a little business. Highest paid guard in NFL history. July 15th is here.
Yeah.
Okay, long-term deal. What's the latest from Beach?
I leave it to the hands of my agents, and obviously the front office staff of the Chiefs are elite, and at the end of the day, I just let them take care of it. I just have to focus on being the best version of myself, being the best football player, and being prepared for training camp, because St. Joe's is around the corner. That's going to be we don't want to talk about that right now.
So
the end part is great. That has nothing to do with the contract. We almost left that in just because St. Joe's hot, and the players must hate it.
It's going to be a miserable time for them. And they're going to be, going through quite the camp with Andy Reid and everything. But the beginning, look, he said the right things, right? I'm letting my agent handle it. All that's typical stuff you would hear from a player. Today is Thursday, Tuesday, like this weekend, like I would expect to start hearing something this weekend, right?
I, again, am taking it as a good sign that we haven't heard anything. And then rather in that interview clip saying, I hope we can find a number that everybody agrees on, he said, the Chiefs front office is elite. My agents are elite. They'll work it out. That doesn't sound like a guy who's worried about contention over the final 5 days of this, right? He seems like a guy who's relaxed. I am still very optimistic this deal's going to get done. I will begin to grow concerned, Gold, if by the end of the weekend, so we start this show Monday morning at 10 a.m., just a few days away, or day away from the deadline, if there's been nothing, they're close, they're talking, they're on the 1 yard line, any of the normal football cliches that people like to toss around as it relates to these, I will start getting concerned. I'm still not worried about it because it still doesn't seem like anyone's talking like there's animosity on either side. Not a single leaked report of, we're hearing Trey Smith's demands are unreasonable because we know where that comes from. Or we're hearing the Chiefs only want to do a 4-year deal because we know what side that's coming from. None of that so far. It's been kind of crickets for the better part of a month. The fact he's talking kind of calmly makes me still weirdly confident, even though we haven't heard anything. You got a percentage you'd put it on?
Oh, I still think, 75, 80% chance
that's about right.
This thing gets done. Honestly, we've said it, but when they decided to trade Joe Thuney, I think they put themselves in a spot where they have to get this thing done. Otherwise, I can promise you on Wednesday, if we come on the show and they don't get a long-term deal done, then it was a massive mistake and they botched it. I don't think they're going to botch it, though.
Yeah. I hope I hope not. We've talked about, not ad nauseum, but we have definitely on this show, and I will beat it to death if they actually don't get this deal done. Huge mistake for a variety of reasons they don't get it done. Huge mistake to let Thuney go, not invest in other areas, all of those things in between. The other contracts, it slows down. The cost, it will cost you to get Trey Smith if you try to get him again next year. All the reasons why this deal's got to get done by Tuesday.
Up next, we know Big 12 football media days wrapping up yesterday in Fresco, Texas, and we heard from Lance Leipold what he said about rivalries, and I'm guessing some K-State fans aren't going to like it.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
The Nissan 4th of July sale is on at Reiselman Nissan, and 0% financing is back. That's right, 0% APR for 5 full years on Rogues, Muranos, and Pathfinders. Or choose 1.9% for 72 months, even 84 months at just 3.49% APR. Traded your last car at 7% interest? Trade up and lower your payments today. Plus, get up to $6,000 in total rebates on the rugged Frontier. Nobody in Kansas City beats our deals or selection. Visit Reiselman.com for details. Reiselman Nissan. Every customer, every time. At KCUC, you see the best in KC. As the region's premier urology and oncology center, KCUC stands out for 3 reasons. 1, experience. With 50-plus providers, you're seen faster when you need it. 2, convenience. 25-plus offices means care close to home to make each visit easy. 3, technology. We offer the most advanced treatments available. You deserve the best. Why go anywhere else? Trust Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC. Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit AspenLawn.com.
Missouri sports fans, I got great news for you. Underdog is now available to play in your state, and you can go yard all baseball season long with Underdog's Champions Game. As we get ready to roll into the 4th of July holiday, the baseball action is heating up, and Underdog is a leading place to make all of your sports selections. To play, all you have to do is download the app and choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats. You can choose from things like home runs, total bases, and so much more. And once that entry feels good, you can play with as little as $1, and if you get everything right, you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Maybe it's time for Vinny Pasquantino to start heating up, and you love the over on his total bases this weekend. Download the Underdog app and sign up with promo code BOB to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit with promo code BOB. Must be 18 and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See UnderdogFantasy.com/web/deposit-match-terms. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
You want to see the ring? Here, I have a picture.
Wow, look at you.
I know, right? Went to Hellsberg and customized the whole thing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, I showed them all our inspiration photos, picked the setting, the diamond. It's actually pretty fun. Now for the real hard part, asking her.
Well, congrats, buddy. The ring looks awesome.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Designed with care and craft since 1915. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Hey, it's Gold, and Circa Millions and Circa Survivor are back with a massive $21 million in guaranteed prizes. Circa Million, pick 5 games against the spread each week, 126 ways to win with $6 million guaranteed. Circa Survivor, 1 pick a week, no point spread, last the longest to win it all. $15 million guaranteed. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere, $21 million guaranteed. Visit circasports.com for details.
It's time to build that dream deck over at All Weather Decks. Schedule a free estimate today at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net. All Weather Decks, the right deck at the right price.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could it be lower testosterone?
Lower T.
Happens to most guys after 40. I was in the same boat until I started using Nugenix Total T2.
Total T2, the new one I've seen on TV.
Yep, it's the next generation testosterone booster for both free and total testosterone. It's packed with even more man-boosting power, sending nitric oxide levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours.
It actually works?
I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I've got more energy, better results in the gym, and things are even better in the bedroom. Send them a text and get a complimentary bottle.
Text now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 testosterone brand at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text BOSS to 321321. That's BOSS to 321321. BOSS to 321321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide, our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka in Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka in Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories, and the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating and Cooling Studios.
Coming up in about 8 minutes or so, we'll talk more about how the Chiefs have built their roster and maybe could build their roster moving forward. As we know, Patrick Mahomes will once again be due for a new contract, probably after this 2025 season. But let's talk a little college football for a little bit. Next week, SEC Media Days. This week, Big 12 Media Days wrapped up, I think, yesterday officially in Frisco. And, you know, if anybody's been around that before, basically each team sends 2 to 3 players, usually their head coach, and they give their spiel about how the season is going to go and what changes. This year has been a lot about conference realignment and NIL and how they're navigating that. For KU, they've been talking about their stadium. Chris Kleiman's been talking a lot about just his program. I think they have the best chance easily, not even close, of the locals to get to a college football playoff this year.
Yeah, On3 did their little quick coaches poll, essentially, and the predictor was Arizona State versus K-State in the Big 12 title game, I believe, when you couldn't vote for your own school.
I mean, they don't have, we can get into that stuff more as the season gets closer, but Arizona State, ton of pressure on Levitt. The question will be, without Scadaboo, who's the next big playmaker for them? For K-State, Avery Johnson's the real deal, but can he elevate his game as well? They've got everything in place, I think, over in Manhattan to out of the 3 locals easily to perhaps be the team that gets out of the locals for the first time to a college football playoff. But yesterday, I'm assuming a comment that will not excite one of the local fan bases. 2 of them, I think, would agree. One is going to say, whoa, this is just because we've been beating you guys. But Lance Leipold was asked who their biggest rival is.
Well, rivalry games are what makes college football so special and of itself. And I didn't really realize when I first got to Lawrence that the Kansas-Missouri game was more of a rivalry than Kansas State. Yeah. But now with the 2 teams in conference, we've got to do a better job making that a balanced one in the in-state rivalry. But to go to Columbia this year will be special. I'm sure there's a lot of people on both sides of it. They're going to be fired up, and to see some of these rivalries get renewed is special. And again, will be a great time, and we'll be looking forward to it.
I think we would all agree that the biggest consequence of conference realignment has been we have killed so many rivalries in sports. I think we all agree. It's pretty obvious. It's
the worst part of all of it.
No doubt about that. I also think it's true that KU and K-State, when one team in football in particular, Kansas State, has been winning for 20-something years, that also hurts the ability for it to be a hardcore rivalry in your biggest rival. So those are all true in my opinion. I would think we all agree on that. Where people might disagree, at least in Manhattan with me on this, is it's not even close to me on who the current rival is for KU still. And I don't care that they haven't played football for a decade, okay?
Yeah.
KU and MU are each other's biggest rivals. There's historical context to this. We all know about the Orange Bowl year and the game at Arrowhead and the controversy with who got to go to the Orange Bowl and all that. The real hate. They finally started playing basketball again. It's not even close. KU's biggest rival is Missouri. MU's biggest rival is Kansas. And I just don't believe there's much of a debate there. I understand if you're a K-State fan, you probably don't like hearing that. And you can fairly say it's just because we beat you. And that's fine. You can say that. But I truly believe it's not close because there's so much history involved in the hate between KU and MU. Heck, Cody, when we bring up the stadium talk on this show, Kansas side of the state line versus Missouri, you see the text as much as I do.
Oh. Half of them are, I'd never live in Kansas, I'd rather be dead, and the other half is saying I'd rather be dead than live in Missouri.
Yeah. It's not even close. KU, MU, those are each other's rivals.
Despite the fact this show resides on opposite sides of the border, and I guess technically I went to a University of Missouri school.
Yeah, you're a Missouri guy, Cody.
I'm a Missouri guy by default. I teach at UMKC. And, you went to Kansas, obviously, and grew up on the Kansas side. Look, there's a couple of things. I actually think had the rivalry never been renewed, KU and K-State could have changed that over time. They're in state. They don't like each other. I think rivalries work sometimes because you get the big brother, little brother stuff that works in that, because in football, Kansas State gets to be big brother and be like, look at you, you're a joke. And then in basketball, Kansas got to be, look at you, no, you're the joke. And so like for the entire year round, these two cycles worked really well together. You got to just trash talk depending on which time of year it was for your school to operate. So if the rivalry had never been brought back, slowly over time, because they're in a conference, because of this stuff, I think there could have been some more juice there that have gotten those rivalries closer. But because they're playing again, even though it never will be the same as it was when we were growing up.
Yes.
That's the other part. It'll never be the same. The bigger rivalry's always been KUMU, and I think probably always will be KUMU. What is frustrating about me is that conference realignment starting back to then took two rivals who were one of the longest rivalries in college sports history and said, well, we can't play each other anymore because you're leaving, and why are you leaving? You know, like all this dumb stuff that does. For Leipold to be like, it's the most important thing of our sport. We don't even play in the same conference. You're like, that's the problem, Lance. The problem is you're telling me that pageantry and rivalries is one of the things that drives your sport, and you two don't even play together. You're not even in the same conference.
Well, now they're going to finally start. They're now finally going to start doing that again, starting this year in Columbia. And I'll be honest, though, maybe my excitement will get there when we get to the weekend of. But this far out, you know, like right now, am I counting down the days till KU plays MU in Columbia? I'll be honest. No, I'm not. I'm not. Well, I'll be fired up by the time we get there. I'm sure I will. It also is that first weekend of the NFL season is the same weekend of KUMU. Now, the Chiefs play Friday night, so this helps a little bit. They play Friday night, and then the football game between KU and MU is on a Saturday in Columbia. So it's not like you're trying to do both things. But NFL has become just such a much bigger thing in the Kansas City market than when you reference, Cody, when we were growing up, and even go back to, obviously, 08, 09, and you think about where the Chiefs were at as a franchise, where the Royals were at as a franchise. We had not, in our lifetime, seen a championship on the professional side of things from the baseball team or the football team. And so college and what was a much bigger deal. And by the way, I'm not saying that people don't care about their college teams. But if anybody has paid attention, and anybody, frankly, that grew up here has listened to sports talk radio over the last 25 or 30 years, you guys have probably noticed it as well. The conversations around college sports are not the same as what they were 15 years ago, because the Chiefs and even the Royals, after they won their championship and World Series and went to the World Series back-to-back years, that has changed everything in this city.
Do you know how I know that they're right? Is that because when this happened, what is it, 15, 20 years ago? How long ago now did MU leave to the SEC?
Was it 2012?
I mean, it's been forever now. So 15 years ago?
It's been 15.
So 15 years ago, when that eventual move happened, the two conferences both tried to, and this is why the rivalry got renewed. Both conferences tried to be like, here it is, you know? So they pitched. Big 12 did heavy average. KU, K-State. Look at them go against each other. In-state rivals. And likewise, the SEC pushed Missouri and Arkansas down Missouri fans' throats. Look how close you guys are geographically. They're up against each other, Missouri and Arkansas. And what happened in both of those schools is they're like, we don't care as much as the other one. And look, I think Kansas State is KU's second biggest rival.
Oh, for sure.
For what it's worth.
Yeah,
I just think
absolutely.
K-State's biggest rival is Kansas.
Yes.
So, like, it's not that they're not rivals or don't have bad blood. It's just first for those two teams is MU and KU, vice versa.
I also just thought you cannot replace the literal historical war in context to that.
Should KU and K-State have a war in between the two of them? What's the midpoint between the two schools?
You cannot replicate the true historical significance of Kansas versus Missouri and the actual border war going back to slavery. I mean, you just can't replicate that. I mean, there's way too much history behind the rivalry. I'm glad they're playing again at this point in time. And we'll
it's
see.
Not even up to the conferences, it's the schools.
What's that?
Because this whole time, Missouri could have played KU this entire time.
Well, Kansas refused, in fairness, Kansas refused to play Missouri when this all went down at first as well. And if we're being fair about the conversation, I can say that as a KU alum. I was happy, admittedly, at the time that they said, screw you, we're not going to play you. I was on board. Obviously, Bill Self was very vocal about it at the time as well. As time goes on, cooler heads prevail, et cetera, and different regimes come in as far as athletic departments and everything.
Also,
And
everyone's moved conferences in college football
and now.
now.
It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. That weekend, as someone pointed out, like depending on what the Royals are doing, you're going to have the Royals that weekend. Chiefs on Friday night, KUMU Saturday, NFL on Sunday. Like it is a loaded weekend. Loaded weekend.
Could be the Royals in a playoff race, Chiefs opening game in Brazil, and KUMU. Are you going to, settle in, I guess, Gold? I don't think you want to make any other plans that weekend. It sounds like we're pretty well and booked.
I would say so.
To go with it. But yeah, it is tough. And I think sometimes it stinks because it feels like Leipold's not even, he actually handled it pretty democratically. He was like.
I don't think he said anything that was wrong or bad even.
He's like, we got to work hard to nurture that in-state rivalry. But I didn't realize how big KUMU was until we kind of got back to it. We see it all the time in the text line. There is still bad blood there.
For sure.
Over at ESPN.com, where our friend Nate Taylor has announced he's headed.
Yeah, congrats to Nate. We're excited for Nate Taylor. He will still be joining us on the show, by the way.
He will be. New beat writer over at ESPN. If you missed his announcement over on social media, go congratulate Nate on his move over to ESPN. But over on ESPN, this was not an article written by Nate. He just announced today. He was heading over there. They were, in the offseason, trying to build a dream team, right? What do? Let's build a dream team with actual cap numbers, factoring all this in. Let's take in what we want to pay quarterbacks, what we want to pay wide receivers and offensive linemen, and see the best that we could do. And kind of what I expected was when they built this dream team, they'd go as cheap as possible on quarterback, say Jaden Daniels, in an effort to build the most dominant defense available to you, the most dominant offensive weapons available to you, and just put him with the best. And what happened was when they started building, when these ESPN analysts started building their dream rosters, they instead just continued to build it with Patrick Mahomes at his current cap number rather than work around. And in a way, I thought it was a great exercise of, you can have great wide receivers, you can have great weapons, and it also speaks to what kind of team you can build if you draft. Because the offense would include Justin Jefferson and Puka Nacua and Ladd McConkey, who is a rookie, and Brock Bowers, who's on a rookie contract, right? Those guys who are on rookie deals still, like Ladd and Brock Bowers, you can still build it around there and have a super team. But there is the one place you do not shortchange your cash, Gold, is a quarterback. I just like that they go through the whole exercise and they're still like, I'll pay Patrick Mahomes at full freight.
And you know why?
So what?
You know why it's still the best to build around, not only because of the talent, but it goes back to the very first day he signed the new contract after the first Super Bowl win in Miami. And you go, I think it was March. I don't know if it was in March or June of that offseason, when the big announcement was that they signed Patrick Mahomes to this unprecedented 10-year, $500 million deal, and it has all these guarantee mechanisms. Remember, that was like the phrase that all of a sudden nobody had really used, and it became the whole thing.
I don't think anybody's used that in a contract since.
Because nobody else wants to give their quarterback a 10-year contract because there's uncertainty, right? Like, you're not worried about Patrick Mahomes. And it also takes the player being willing to do it, right? Not every player wants to sign a 10-year deal because you could also be leaving some money on the table, potentially.
Yeah.
The reason why the answer in building out your roster and why he would still be the quarterback financially as well is because of that flexibility in the deal. It allows Brett Veach, even next offseason, while the cap number creeps up, they're going to go revisit that. They're going to give add some new years to it, some more money, but the cap hits,
that number two.
The cap hits will be balanced out a little bit more.
I like all this. Part of this exercise was like, we know the thing about Mahomes, but also what I was realizing is every time we have the conversation of, could you for 1 year build a super team? Like, how do the Eagles keep doing it? And I don't know, man. Yeah. If all of these players all together fit under a cap number, it doesn't seem all that bad anymore. Other than it requires you to draft incredibly well. Because you got to put some rookies on the squad or players on rookie deals or guys who just signed extensions, but they're still in the first year of their cap number exploding. This team would be $70 million over the cap in year 2 of this, wouldn't they? Like, based on the one that they built, we're all looking at the same thing. Like, Jordan Mailata is the left tackle in this situation. Well, he's in the first year of a brand new contract, so his number is still low. All of the numbers would balloon following this. The other part of this is, like, I kind of like the idea of, are there any young players that are still cheap in Kansas City you would do it? They went with Patrick Surtain, but Trent McDuffie would have been a possible answer in here. They went Surtain and Christian Benford, but had you made the argument for Trent McDuffie, the answer would have been the same. He could have been on this super team, and nobody would have thought terribly hard about it because it would have just made sense.
What was the rules for this though? Like that, because
just be under the cap, pretty much.
Because I'm like
based on the current cap number.
Yeah, because anybody that's on a rookie contract, I mean, well then it's like Brock Bowers would be the only answer anybody would ever pick then for tight end in this hypothetical.
Oh yeah, he's a rookie and makes no money.
Yeah, he makes no money, and he's going to potentially for the next decade be the best tight end in football.
There's a couple of players that would not change. One is Brock Bowers. I think that's almost a borderline lock. I think because you're having to get under the cap.
Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons both. That's a lot. They're the best edge rushers, but that's a ton of money to put together there for both of them. Micah Parsons hasn't got the new deal yet, but I don't know if you could actually
young pass rushers. That's the problem. Yeah. How many young pass rushers come to the league and just we do this all the time, get 14 sacks? I just pay TJ Watt his money. I don't care. Like a pass rushing quarterback, those are the positions that you pay. Like they chose Ladd McConkey. I might choose Brian Thomas. Right, I might
Brian
choose
Thomas
a different.
Is absolutely a better player than McConkey, and McConkey is great. But.
Yeah, I would just probably choose a different, or Malik Neighbors. I would just choose a different young wide receiver on a rookie
why did they
deal.
pick Ladd McConkey?
I think it's because they were envisioning slot. Think about it. They got Justin Jefferson and Puka Nacua on the outside, and they were thinking, we're just going to let Ladd McConkey run on the inside and kind of handle their business. The only other, and again, they went with like a rookie center instead of paying a guy like Creed Humphrey. A lot of this speaks to just like the positional value. You got to have some mix of all those guys to go with it. It was just a good reminder for me that even if you give an entire ESPN grouping of NFL writers free reign to try to go cheap at quarterback or cheaper at quarterback, right? Because Patrick Mahomes' cap number this year is the second highest, I think, out of any of the starting quarterbacks. I think second to only maybe Dak, as far as like what their cap hit will be this season.
Deshaun's still up there, isn't he?
Deshaun. Maybe it's third.
Or is it next year? I don't have it in front of me.
Even if he was $0. Like, because you could have gone cheap and just said Jaden Daniels. Imagine the team you could build if you had Jaden Daniels. You wouldn't have to go rookie wide receiver. You could just pay Jamar Chase and the other two guys they just mentioned at wide receiver. You could pay whoever the hell you wanted. It wouldn't matter. But nobody's willing to do that because they still understand the value of Patrick Mahomes. That's what stood out to me. As a reminder, this Sunday, starting at 10:30, is our official first event for the Wittizens, a fan group for Bobby Witt Jr. that we have now gotten officially sanctioned by the Kansas City Royals and by Major League Baseball. So they're on board. We're not having to operate below board like normal on this show. We will have some giveaways, including stickers and buttons and eye black. We have said at 10:30, you can get a free Bobby Witt Jr. haircut for our lookalike contest. You don't have enough hair, you have too much hair, and you don't want to get rid of it all, we will have wigs available for you for the Bobby Witt Jr. contest. That'll take place after that, and the winner will, at very least, get to sit in the Crown Club with me and Alex for the game that day, which is an awesome prize.
Mets as well. See Juan Soto up close and personal.
You can imagine what it was like to beat them in the World Series again 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's important, as you said, we've had a ton of people asking about, hey, there's no way I can get a mullet. That's why we've got the wigs as well. Wigs. So, yeah, whether you just don't have the hair, not the right hairstyle, whatever it may be, right? Like, you can still participate because the facial hair is going to be considered as well. I'm telling you, when we judge this thing.
Whether it's painted on or real.
Yeah, if somebody has.
I just feel like you should have the goatee.
Yeah, if somebody has the close on the facial hair as well, that's going to go a long ways, I think.
I don't think yours is going to be quite long enough, but it's still going to be pretty good.
No.
Had we thought of it earlier and you didn't shave for a week, we would have really had something with your goatee, I think.
Yes.
Because you even had the little chin part here. Like most people, right?
Yeah.
You
On Sunday, I'm going to shave the cheeks and everything else, but I will have in the neck, but I will have the goatee. Oh, it's going to.
I've seen you with a beard, but you're going to look.
I've never only had the stash or a goatee in my life, so this is going to look weird.
Have you ever shaved it when you were just like shaving
of
before?
Course.
Just to see? Okay.
Oh, I've
You've done that, right?
Yeah,
just to see
what's
it look like?
It gives off such a different personality. Like, if you just didn't know who the person was.
It's like a different person.
You walk into a room and you're wearing a goatee, it's just such a different vibe than someone that's clean shaven.
He's going to put on his leather vest and get on his hog. Alex is just a different dude with a goatee, Drew. You wouldn't believe it.
I'll keep it for Sunday, and I'll keep it for Monday's show just so we have it on video Monday if you want. But after Monday, that thing is getting shaved.
Then you're going back to normal?
I'm not wearing a stash.
Not sticking with the goatee
no, absolutely
or the stash.
Not. Absolutely
fair enough.
Not.
That's more than fair. But at least keep it up so people can see it. Although I'm sure we'll send a picture out on our social media channels. Really looking forward to anybody who wants to compete in our lookalike contest for Bobby Witt Jr. on Sunday. Outside of Gate B for Bobby is where we will be at that time.
Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll talk more about the Royals and looking ahead to the future a little bit with the rotation and potential options that they have if they trade anybody, if they extend somebody. So that's coming up in just a bit. We were talking college football earlier this segment and going through the Big 12 a little bit. We know one of the biggest stories of the offseason in college football has been Bill Belichick. Initially just getting hired at North Carolina, and then all the other baggage now that has come out over the last couple of months. And some more details came out recently because UNC was forced to release some emails from donors, right? They're a public university, and so some people did open records request and was able to dig into this more. Pablo Torre's done a great job with some of his reporting on this. But basically, a bunch of like angry donor, alumni, faculty emails around Belichick and Jordan Hudson because people are concerned. Like in one email, this is from the Daily Mail, a donor wrote, "What a total embarrassment to North Carolina. I'm withdrawing all my donations and future donations." And another email from a faculty member at UNC. The disgruntled employee complained about there not being, quote, enough money to hire the number of professors we need, but paying a 73-year-old guy with no college football experience $10 million is okay.
There is part of this that this is why, and I do think that it's just because he had no options. Had a team in the NFL offered him a job, he would have taken it. This is why I think he's a terrible fit for college football. Every part of Bill Belichick's life has always been about never giving anyone an inch to give an outside distraction. And now emails sent about you can be found as part of a public media request?
Yeah, the only thing
as
is
an open report request? You don't need this in your world.
That last email, though, that one's just ridiculous. That's just like the classic professor doesn't get why football makes a lot of money for the university and also why the football coach makes more money than the...
I do think college professors should get paid.
Yeah, I know. I'm a professor.
Not for any selfish reasons at all.
Like that last email, though, that's an argument we've heard since the beginning of time. Like, not understanding why the football coach makes more than the history professor. I'm sorry, like, no disrespect, but like the UNC probably has enough professors. You know, they maybe didn't have a coach that might do something that nobody's ever been able to do at their program, so they took the risk. And a lot of times the money, by the way, is separate on the educational side than the athletic. Like the athletic department is its own entity usually.
It's almost like a separate business in a lot of cases.
That's the only thing I
think. State universities are a little bit different. They can't fully separate themselves versus the private ones, but there are, no doubt, different line items to go with it. But like the idea that all of these emails are just like people sending, I'm withdrawing. Now I will say, in my experience, most of the time, this is like, we talked about this like with the stadium stuff. The person who sends in an email and says, I'm withdrawing all my donations and future donations is definitely the dude who gave $25 to their scholarship fund once.
Oh, you think it's a small donor?
Never gave it again, and then just
I don't know.
is raising a stink.
I don't know.
I said more often than not. Yeah. I'm not saying that one's not that, but if you're going to say that, you better have some weight behind those donations. You better not be the guy who donated $250,
what?
As a part of your season ticket basketball package and thinks now you're like holding the freight on the University of North Carolina to do it. The problem is that there's no, like if you're the school, you just watched what profile got raised at Colorado by doing a big time splashy hire. And in this case, you get the splashy hire and just so happens to get one of the greatest football minds of all time.
Well, and if I know you mentioned the money part of it. The fact is that North Carolina is private as well. University of North Carolina is like a private.
Oh, private. Okay.
I believe North Carolina. It's very difficult to get into. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gold. If you can look it up.
Yeah, it's got a low acceptance rate.
I believe it's private. It's like an 18% acceptance rate at UNC. It's crazy.
I love how Drew said Alex, as if I applied there and got turned down or something. Like, as I
he was going to follow Roy.
Yeah.
There's a big Roy Williams guy. He was
like, Alex, I'm sure you know the answer to this one for North Carolina.
I saw you typing, and I was like, do you mind looking at, like, I saw you typing. I don't know if you were already
their acceptance rate is 19% or something, I think.
So I don't know. I think they're private. I think North Carolina actually is private. But anyways, to the point of, like, they have money there. Also, you guys know this as well as anything. Winning cures all, where, hey, you know what? If they're out there and North Carolina
goes... It's a public university.
Is it public? Okay, I'm sorry.
I thought it was public.
Anyways.
University of North Carolina. Like, the fact that it's a state.
Ignore the fact of my...
You're good.
My idiocy, as somebody called it yesterday. Sorry that I'm an idiot on the show, by the way. But, hey, you know what? I'm not supposed to be here. North Carolina, if Bill Belichick wins, then... you're not going to see people complaining as much. Well, right now, with all the things that are going on, I totally understand why there are boosters who are like, look, I'm not donating to something, right? I need to see something first. I don't want to dedicate my dollars to something that this man's never coached in college at a head coaching level. I need to see more before I invest my money into it, where at least with Dion had success at the FCS level, and him having the profile of recruiting, he showed that he could recruit top talent. Like, he stole Travis Hunter from Florida State.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick, we haven't seen anything of that from him yet. So if they start out well this year and they win the first few games and they go 9-3, all of a sudden, hey, maybe Bill actually does know what he's doing. Then the investment comes in, and all of a sudden, it's going to be Clemson, and North Carolina is going to be right up there in that mix with those top-tier schools in the ACC. I don't even know what their over-under is. I think it's 6.5.
You sent me down a rabbit hole, too, by the way, Drew, because I was curious. Because, they've got a low acceptance rate because they're a well-thought-of education school.
Yes, very high education.
And we all know all the ones that are the smallest, right? Like Harvard and Stanford and Brown and all these ones that you don't. I instead was looking at, what's the school that'll just take you no matter what? What's the state school that would take you no matter what? The University of Mississippi has a 98% acceptance rate. They'll take anyone at that school.
They just want you to go to college.
Man,
they want you to be a rebel.
98% though? That's a lot higher than I was expecting. I don't even think. What do you think Kansas or Missouri's or K-State's acceptance rates
KU
are?
has changed the requirements. It's
tougher to get 92%.
I bet you K-State's is higher than KU's.
It is tougher to get into KU now than what it was when I got in.
I bet you K-State is the highest acceptance rate of either of them.
You think which one?
K-State.
KU's is 88.2.
I mean,
the admissions rate.
Tough. That's a big difference between 98 and 88.
For how many applicants? Sure. I think K-State, it might be around that range. Or maybe it's even higher.
K-State's only 79.4%.
There you go.
Oh. So every man is not a Wildcat necessarily. No offense.
No, only 79.4% of people who apply to K-State
before the K-State fan base buries me.
Missouri's is 77%. They accepted the lowest rate.
All right, up next, guys, let's get back into the Royals a little bit and look ahead to the next couple of years on what the rotation could be, especially if they make a trade here soon. That's coming up on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Baseball season is in full swing, as we know, and that means while the summer heat has arrived, the guys over at Climate Control, they've been serving KC homeowners for over 35 years, and they know how to get your cooling system ready to handle this scorching hot summer weather. Stay cool and comfortable this summer. Call Climate Control today at 816-265-2830. That's 816-265-2830, and schedule your AC system tune-up for just $59. That's just $59 with Climate Control KC. Don't wait. Visit ClimateControlKC.com today. Climate Control, heating, cooling, and plumbing.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth.
Men, the summer is here. Longer days, warmer nights, and romance in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated. Because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life, and fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Holy cow, you've done it again.
We've done it again, Toby. We won the President's Award again this year. This is the 22nd time we've been awarded this awesome honor from Ford Motor Company.
But what is the President's Award?
The President's Award is the top award Ford Motor Company gives its dealers for excellence in customer satisfaction in both sales and service and their sales penetration numbers. So we are super honored to have received this award for for the 22nd time.
It covers the whole works at Lewisburg Ford.
Absolutely, and it's a testament to the awesome people we have working at Lewisburg Ford and helping our customers, and it really shows with this award because it's only a few dealers that get it, and we've done it 22 times.
I guarantee you this is the best place to buy a Ford car or truck in the Midwest.
Absolutely. You couple that President's Award lineage with our no-hassle Toby Tobin pricing, it does not get any better than that.
What is your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Or LewisburgFord.com.
Headed out for a summer getaway? Make your airport parking a breeze with Casey's favorite, Park and Go. All spots are covered so your car stays cool and protected while you're soaking up the sun. Hop on a quick air-conditioned shuttle that picks you up right at your car and drops you off at the terminal. Always the best service, always the best price. Reserve now at bookparkandgo.com. Open 24/7. Fast, easy, and stress-free. Park and Go, family-owned and operated, and proud to be part of your summer travel plans.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the entire job, all from one partner. To get access to over 3 million products, including many products you won't find in our stores. It's time to get delivery on your schedule or next day on over 50,000 products. And time to get dedicated support on the job site or in our stores. From ordering to planning, we've got you. One partner, any job, all in. Ask about all we can now do at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could it be lower testosterone?
Lower T.
Happens to most guys after 40. I was in the same boat until I started using Nugenix Total T2.
Total T2, the new one I've seen on TV.
Yep, it's the next generation testosterone booster for both free and total testosterone. It's packed with even more man-boosting power, sending nitric oxide levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours.
It actually works?
I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I've got more energy, better results in the gym, and things are even better in the bedroom. Send them a text and get a complimentary bottle.
Text now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 testosterone brand at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text BOSS to 321321. That's BOSS to 321321. BOSS to 321321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Have you watched Thy Royal Decree? How about Chiefs Take Tuesday? Or would you rather Wednesday? Follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for exclusive video content, giveaways, and behind-the-scenes action. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
11 o'clock hour here on a Thursday. Coming up later on today, something that we only do every few Thursdays. Snitch line. I'm telling you way earlier because you need to start thinking. Snitch line, for those of you who've been with the show for a while, you know what Snitch line is. If you're fairly new to the show, Snitch line is something we used to do on a weekly basis. Now we do it like once a month or every couple weeks.
We like to build up the dirt.
It all started back during COVID when the NBA basically created a snitch line for people that were leaving the bubble, if you guys remember that whole thing.
I do.
Obviously, what's his name going to Magic City Wings and everything like that. Although he was on a podcast recently explaining the whole backstory to it more. I thought it was interesting, and he claims that like he didn't do what they said he did.
He was accused of doing?
Yeah,
Sure.
although he still admitted to leaving the bubble, but like he explained how he was out with what's his name and got a photo the singer that blew up all this at the time wasn't a big deal, and then he blew up, and the name's escaping me right now. But anyway, that's why we started the Snitch line. It was a joke. So if you have something that you've seen in your workplace and you want to anonymously tell us what happened, something you've been maybe holding in for a while, that'll be coming up around 1:10 today, all right? You can text them in to 913-586-7965. We'll bring the Snitch line back. We'll also get to the trash of the day here in 15 minutes in just a bit. All right, let's talk about the Royals a little bit. And we know what they're currently doing, which we discussed earlier, and that is the offense and playing better, 3 games back from a playoff spot now. But what about this rotation moving forward? So if they trade a piece or two, it changes how the next 2 years could look as well with this rotation. One thing is probably changing no matter what they do, which is Maikel Lorenzen not going to be back next year.
No.
And Seth Lugo probably, I say only probably because I guess there's a chance they could get an extension done at the end of the season. But most likely, he's gone. So that's 2 holes in the rotation. Next year, you'll have Michael Wacha. You would have Chris Bubic, unless you move on from him. Noah Cameron. And Cole Reagan's assuming he comes back fully healthy at some point in time for next season. I know it could happen this year, too.
Yeah.
But those are the sure things for next year. Where it gets really complicated is if you decided to not do an extension for Chris Bubic and you fast forward to 2 years from now and what the heck that rotation looks like. I don't want to go too far in front because it's baseball, because 2028 is such a long time from now, and I don't. That's way too far to plan as a fan. I know the Royals have to plan that,
Sure.
but I'm not going to.
But I'm just
we
trying to think about
we
it
might also have a lockout in 2027. So
yeah, I'm trying to think about it as it relates to the current rotation and how you set yourself up for the future. Because you watched Bubic again last night, and you got to ask the same questions. Hey, if we gave him an extension, right? Like hypothetically, if we gave him an extension, what does that look like in the sense that is he worth the risk? Is the injury risk worth it? All the thing that comes with that? Is that, like all the stuff that would have us questioning or those things outside of it. But then it's also like, you got Walker for like a year, but he'll be 1 year older. And you got Reagan's for how many? You got Reagan's for some years for sure. But then you're also running into the issue where, now this year he's been a little bit hurt. Do you, like how much can you trust that? Their minor league system is not ripe with it. Yeah. So, as I start playing this thing out, I am kind of leaning towards you're going to have to figure out a way to keep Bubic for some time, or your plan better include figuring out a way to get Seth Lugo back or signing another
it's probably another
free
veteran
agent wide receiver, another free agent pitcher, all those things.
Yeah, it's probably another vet, Cody, or it's a Kyle Wright that actually gets back from this, but that's a dart throw, and you can't rely on that, I don't think, heading into next season. Alec Marsh is another name. So those would be the 2 quickest paths to filling the 4 or 5 spot in the rotation beyond 2025.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess, but at the same time, would you give Bubic an extension right now? If he would just take a standard contract, Gold, you in? He'll just take
standard contract?
$15 million a year over 15, 20 million a year over 3 years, probably is what you're looking at. Whatever
it's not my money, so sure. In general, if it was my money, I don't know if I would do that yet.
Waka plus 5%, right? I mean, whatever the number is that you need in order to kind of make you feel comfortable with it, I guess is what I would say. Because they do have an eventual rotation issue, unless there's a bunch of these guys like Kudrna or Avila, or you're going way down the list of A-ball guys that you think are going to be available to you in the next 24 months. You're light. You don't have enough. So it's either trade young players in your system for that or go back in there now.
Yeah, I mean, Bubic turns 28 in August. All right. So, and they have a year left on his current deal. And they probably this offseason have to make a decision. They're either moving on from him to bring back multiple pieces, or they're getting an extension. I don't think they're going into next season with him just playing out the final year, unless you're setting yourself up to trade him midseason next year, right? Chris Bubic doesn't have to do what he's doing this year. Let's be clear. This year is unbelievable. He's an all-star, 2.48 ERA. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball here in 2025. I don't think anybody is saying that's the standard he has to meet for you to be good with an extension. Not at all, right? But let's say he's 15 or 20% worse. Are you okay with that on a deal that's going to pay him what it's going to take to pay him, right?
For a rotation with no certainty, I am.
Because
unfortunately, I have to pay for the lack of certainty.
What's his peak for you still? Because to me, he most likely still is Well, yeah, exactly. So I think most likely he's a very nice number 3 starter for you over the next 3 years if you extend him.
Yeah,
that's
and
probably what
pitched
he
like
is.
ones in certain years,
Absolutely.
which is what he's doing
And that's what
right
he's doing
now.
this year. Seth Lugo has done that as well, where Seth Lugo last year in particular pitched like an ace, right? But he's probably a number 2 or 3 starter for being realistic. Bubic, same deal. So what are you comfortable paying your number 3 starter really is the question. Or do you trade him when his value is high in the offseason and you get multiple pieces back? But there's a little bit of a numbers game unless you're going to bring in a veteran or 2 next offseason that's cheaper. You got to fill out the rotation.
The only advantage they have in that department, depending on what trade they make here at the deadline, is they are still young and cheap, and a lot of rookie deals in the position player department, right? So let's just say whether they got Salvador Perez for another year and they pick up the option, which we don't think that happened, or Carter Jensen is the guy that goes with it instead, we're having a slightly different conversation, right? Like, they're young and cheap there. Vinny's still on his young player deal. Bobby Witt Jr. is what he is. He's expensive. But most of their players right now are homegrown and inexpensive. So if there is still a time in which you can spend some money and spend a decent amount of money.
But what are they doing on the
free agent pitching? You can do it, but then also can you hit?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They have some obvious issues offensively still, and are they trading for somebody that's got a massive contract, Brian Reynolds, or are they trading for prospects if they trade anybody to help the offense? Because I'll just keep using the Brian Reynolds example because that was just a player they were linked to. I'm not saying they're going to actually trade him, but we know he's owed $80 million. Well, all of a sudden, if you have $80 million on the books for Brian Reynolds, does that change how you operate in the offseason? I think the answer is absolutely it has to financially change how you operate.
Yeah, but again, I'd have to look at next year. I think they're like in the 20s next year in cap.
Sure.
And look, that number is going to be dependent and has probably moved a little bit for teams depending on what takes place, I would say, what takes place in the long run for other positions, other players, other guys they're looking to spend money on, and how good they are. They're not going to want to spend money historically, have not wanted to spend money unless they're good. I'd say John Sherman's actually been better about that. That was more of a previous ownership issue, in my opinion.
I actually think he's been very competitive in how he spent his money.
Yeah.
Since being the owner.
He's still not the Dodgers. I think he's been
never
more
going
competitive in spending his money. Like, he has spent it to get competitive more than the previous regime, which waited to spend it until they were competitive, as it is. But Bobby Witt Jr.'s number eventually is going to start, you're going to start feeling it. Next year, by the way, they're 18th in Major League Baseball at $87 million.
That's not factoring in, right, Salvi's option.
It is.
It is
factoring in
Okay.
Salvi's option,
Okay.
so they would actually have more money as it sits right now. But also, as much as I think that they're young,
and is that projecting new ARB numbers? Because there's obviously guys like Vinny's numbers going.
ARB numbers.
Okay, because I was going to say his number is going to go up obviously after the season.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
he's
We
having.
can definitely talk about him more tomorrow. He is currently on pace to have the best season of his career, and that's including the bad start he had. So, like, they're kind of an interesting spot. I just think the rotation, like, they're in a balancing act right now. They want to win now, but they have to pay attention to this year, next year, and the year after of how they're structuring rotation, unless there's a bunch of pitchers getting ready to come up who haven't been coming up.
This would be a question, probably more for the offseason for JJ, but I also wonder, how does a potential 2027 CBA issue impact how you project and what kind of money you're willing to divvy out and what kind of extensions you're willing to go and hand out in this offseason and beyond. I mean, there's a lot of people that believe in 2027 there's a real chance, at least in the offseason, of there being a lockout. The question would be, with the CBA negotiations, does that carry over does the season start late in 27? Do we miss half the season? Is there a full season lockout? Something that would be devastating to a sport that right now I actually think has a ton of momentum. But I would imagine as an owner in a front office, you definitely are factoring in to your plans that, hey, what happens in 2027? And do we lose a season from a guy that's young because of it?
Yeah, and that would be, God, that would suck.
Yes,
losing a year of Bobby Witt Jr., because the last time they went through a lockout, remember, and like in the COVID year, they just said, no, we're not adding on the additional years. This year counted. Like these years count. Because oftentimes that's the one thing the players at least fight for, which is, no, I'm not taking a whole extra year in my age in order to get kind of stung. No, thanks. I'm not because like it's not a worthy risk, at least on that end. So they don't do it. They just don't do it. Baseball. Baseball can't just get out of their own way. Even like yesterday. Did you hear what Tim Kirchin had to say on his podcast about the automatic balls and strikes? Because this goes into the same thing. If you guys don't know already, the All-Star Game is going to have the ABS system, which I think is probably a precursor for baseball agreeing to allow it in the majors next year. They've been doing it in the minors for years.
It's going to happen next year.
Feels like it's probably going to come into play next year, although they haven't officially announced that. Tim Kirchin, who obviously has been covering baseball for 30 years, he says the players don't want it. This stuns me.
Well, the ones that I've talked to and others in the game feel like the players don't want the responsibility and the accountability of being in charge of a challenge on a ball or a strike, because they worry, do I know the strike zone well enough in order to be in charge of a challenge? And what if I challenge in the second inning and we lose a challenge? I had a major league manager tell me this year that in spring training, he thought the overriding point was that most players realized the umpires are better than they think. Meaning a hitter goes, there's no way that's a strike. And then they run the replay and it is a strike. That's my feeling, that a lot of the players look at it and not sure they're confident enough in their understanding of the strike zone to therefore be in charge of a challenge system. They want somebody else to do it for them, but the manager can't do that, and the manager shouldn't have to do that.
All right, this is such a baseball thing, and baseball.
Really?
This is such a baseball player thing, though. Like the idea of routine based and need somebody to carry the bag for him kind of thing. Like, this is crazy to me. And we went to a couple minor league games this year, and one of them I went to, the ump was correct at all three challenges. And so that's exactly what Kirchin's talking about. They're like,
I don't want to look stupid.
Basically, they don't want to be embarrassed. You blew a challenge when it wasn't even close. That is a crazy way to operate, but I guess it makes sense why I guess it makes sense why some players wouldn't like it in general. As a fan, I would love it. Umpires also seemingly are a little skeptical, even though they are correct more often than we think.
I'll be honest, I watch enough. They are wrong sometimes.
Sometimes, but they are correct
twice.
the majority of the time.
Even bad umpires are right on balls and strikes.
Like 90%.
86%. Bad game is, I only got 80% right on the calls. But
I would love to talk to a player about this. True, even off the record, I would love to talk, because is this truly a fear of players that they're worried that they're going to do a challenge in the third inning and they're going to say, no, that was way off, and then the video board's going to show it and we're going to all find out it was 3 inches off the plate and be like, dude, what are you challenging it for? Is that really what they're worried about? That's crazy.
It must be. I mean, there's no other good explanation for why it is they would be concerned over it, because what are you afraid of the embarrassment? But to Drew's point, he had said this in the pre-show when we were talking a little bit about this. Genuinely, if this is your complaint, then shut up when you think a call is outside or inside or higher. Then shut up about it. You don't get to complain if you're like, well, I know the strike zone. Hey, Blue, how are you calling it that? This also goes back to my initial theory on this, is the people who should be calling for the challenges more often are the players that I think have a better sense of the zone.
They're veteran players.
Look, if you're a free swinging, get on base at a 290 clip, you should probably cool it a little bit on the which one you think is a ball.
Like Bobby, Salvi, and Vinny, basically. I would almost narrow it down to those three.
Your Bobby Witt Jr., your Vinny, you got a good eye. We know you got a good eye. They have metrics for this too, by the way. You got a good understanding of the zone. When you watch, it's a ball. When you don't watch, it's a strike. You got a good sense of the zone. Well, then great. You do. We have metrics to know when you are right in how you are viewing it. So look, sometimes they're just so bad, you don't have to fear it at all. They're just so bad, just touch your helmet.
Don't you think, though, the way we hear about all these pregame meetings and conversations players have with their hitting coach and how they're going to attack a pitcher that night, won't part of that plan just be, hey, heading into the season or heading into a series, this is kind of our quote-unquote plan of challenges? Or maybe they don't even maybe they want to simplify it as much as possible. It's like, hey, you each have a challenge. We're not going to really do what you got to do. Like, we trust you to know the strike zone and you do your thing. But if you're worried about embarrassment and they want the somebody else to handle it for them, that is just a baseball player being a baseball player problem. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's a weird, again, you're just not allowed to complain about the system if you're like, but I want my boss to do it. I do want to challenge him, but I don't want to do it. Like, what do you mean you don't want to do it? You're the guy hitting. You have to be the one. You want the manager. Like, imagine the manager challenging a ball and strike.
And the manager's not even allowed to do that, by the way.
No, but he shouldn't anyway. Because I've sat in the best seats in the building.
Humble brag right there, yeah.
And I can't tell.
How about that? He just slid that in.
And I wouldn't trust me. I wouldn't trust me to call a ball and a strike from that distance. You want the manager from the dugout? Do you know how many times you got to sit next to some guy sitting in the stands going, boo, that was high, Blue, boo, and it was like down the middle of the plate. Come on, man, you can't be having a guy sitting in the
when you're off to the side, especially when you're off to the side, especially it makes it hard. If you're right behind the plate, like that's where like Tim Kirchin making that point of, hey, they don't know the strike zone enough. Well, all of a sudden, maybe this turns into if you feel like you should be able to, if you think that you want to take on that challenge of challenging a strike or a ball, then you need to learn the zone a little bit or just adjust to it. And do you think
honing your skill?
I know that we had mentioned this before. Does this play into an advantage for Salvi or Cal Rowley or other catchers who are behind the plate? They know more about it now and everything like that. Is that something where if you're a catcher, this is something that maybe plays into your hands a little bit of you know the zone because you're the one catching the ball behind the plate. You can get a better feel for it on a more consistent basis than if you're just a player out in left field or something like that.
In the All-Star game when they do it, next week, it's gonna be funny because guys are it's gonna be more of a joking type of setup than it will be next year when it's fully implemented.
Yeah.
There's gonna be
strike out and they'll be laughing.
Yeah, there's gonna be someone that now it's the All-Star game, so I don't know how many times guys are striking out looking anyway. People are up there to swing the bat.
I hope so.
So I don't know how often we'll see the strike zone challenges. It might be something somebody does funny, like on the first pitch down the middle, and somebody tries to challenge it as a joke. I could see somebody with a personality that does that. Anyway, all right, let's get to the trash of the day.
Trash of the day.
There's a new study out from the Ohio State University, Drew.
I don't subscribe to having to call him that. I make it very clear. I like to go the opposite just because it makes him so mad.
I just do it because it annoys you.
All caps.
And I do it to annoy them, so it actually works out great for everybody.
A new study out from Ohio State University says 9% of workers in their 30s are using alcohol or drugs on the job.
Oh. I mean, we do have a thing called fan club that we drink at.
That's right.
On Friday.
The study's lead author says it's mainly true in, quote, blue-collar or heavy mechanical jobs.
That's a concern.
It said specifically the study found the jobs with the highest risk of workers drinking or drugging on the job are in, quote, food preparation service industry and in safety-sensitive occupations, including construction.
Oh, no.
Now, yes, we do drink on the job on a Friday at 1 o'clock on a little fan club Friday.
It's sanctioned.
It is sanctioned.
I think.
Well, it's sponsored now, too.
It's sponsored, so it's definitely sanctioned.
Shout out to Circus Sports in Vegas. We'll be out there in August. There are Survivor contests and
come out
and contest weekend and everything. Make sure to join us in Vegas. They are sponsoring Fan Club this summer. But so we contribute to this. Are you surprised 9% of workers? I'll be honest, not to stereotype, but like service industry. Are you worked in the service industry? You told us stories about restaurant workers and stuff. Are you surprised to hear people are drinking on the job?
No, I'd be surprised to find out that restaurant work wasn't 90%. The highest amount I was drinking on a regular basis at any point in my life was absolutely when I was working in restaurants. More than when I was a teenager, more than when I was in college. Now I was in college.
I would hope more than when you were a teenager.
I drank, that might have been the second highest.
Construction
Ages
workers,
like 16 to 19 might have been the second highest drinking other than when I was working in restaurants.
I mean, a construction site, there's just, you know what? OSHA, who cares?
Somebody
Drink
says,
up.
Somebody says, I don't want a sober, well-mannered line cook. They don't. Honestly, man, it's tough work. It's really tough work. I absolutely, restaurant work is not surprising. Construction work, I feel like there's some, maybe you shouldn't be operating a drill press. Maybe you shouldn't be, maybe you shouldn't be doing that and drinking.
No, I think OSHA encourages it, actually.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think that passes
You're
the
not
test?
doing the job correctly if you're not.
I don't know, man. That one feels like a tough one.
Somebody on the text line is suggesting, Cody, that there's, I don't know if you witnessed this, but more than just alcohol that goes in to the.
Well, the study says alcohol or drugs.
I mean,
or drugs.
I don't know if you witnessed anything like that, but the restaurant suggestion.
There's look.
Somebody
in my time working in
much,
restaurants, my experiences, the people who work in restaurants, enjoy drugs and alcohol. Yes. Yes. But also, I would say that that's a stereotype of people who work in radio.
Yeah.
If they drug tested everybody in this building today who is on air in radio, I think we'd have a below 50% pass rate.
I'll say this is the reason why we do not. So? By the way, and
we do not condone
other than one radio
alcohol or drugs.
Other than one radio job, none of them have drug tested. My second radio job I ever had, they drug tested, but that's because at the time the company that owned the radio station also owned a different business, and so like they
just the whole business.
Company did it. Even but in radio, yeah, drug test doesn't exist.
I've had to do one drug test, maybe two.
I had to do one when I was on probation in high school. That was about it.
Oh, yeah. When's the last time you had to pee in a cup?
It was only that time.
That's it.
High school. That one time.
Right.
Well, I mean, not that
my
one.
first job at
high school sports or whatever they make you, but
my second job, like as a kid, at Best Buy, I had a drug test for the Best Buy gig.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's I don't know. I want to say that's surprising, but when I was in like high school and I got a job in high school, I worked at a golf course, and Lord knows I was totally fine.
I'd be surprised if they drug tested.
They did not drug
that
tested me
seem
for
like
that
crowd. From the 816, I'm a contractor. I have a Bud Light at 3, and I'm OSHA certified. So they're saying,
there you go.
This could have borderline been the Snitch line. Keep these in mind for the Snitch line coming up at 1 o'clock. They definitely feel related.
That's the trash of the day. Up next, Chiefs Red Half Hour. You got to hear what Matt Nagy was saying with both the Kelseys on their podcast. It has to do with Chris Jones.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hi, I'm Trisha, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where we're all about you. Your style, your budget, your dream engagement ring. Are you looking for a style that's classic, modern, vintage, or something in between? Not sure? At Shane Company, we're here to help. We have so much style under one roof because a friend knows you like options. Drop by or visit us at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Ring the bell! We've done it again. Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875 fixed. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments for 2 months. Lock in this incredible 4.875 rate and get your cash in as little as 14 days. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Go yard all baseball season long with Underdog's Champions Game. Join the millions who have already won billions making plays on Underdog and be next to join one of the leading places to make all your sports selections that you can play in your state. To play, all you have to do is download the app. Choose whether you think a player will go higher or lower than their favorite stats, home runs, strikeouts, total bases, and so much more. Once your entry feels good, you can play with as little as $1, and if you get everything right, you could win up to 1,000 times your money. That's right. If you bet $1, you could get up to 1,000 times your money, so you really could turn $1 into $1,000 with your baseball knowledge. Download the Underdog app, sign up using that promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to unlock a special offer for up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See underdogfantasy.com/web/deposit-match-terms. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Baseball season is in full swing, and that means the summer heat is coming. The guys at Climate Control have been serving KC homeowners for over 35 years and know how to get your cooling system ready to handle our scorching hot summer weather. Stay cool and comfortable this summer. Call Climate Control today at 816-265-2830 and schedule your AC system tune-up for just $59. Don't wait. Visit ClimateControlKC.com today. Climate Control Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Listening is so important, and that's what Dawn Sharp does. She listens to her clients' needs. Buying or selling a home is stressful, and you want an agent who puts your needs at the top of every single list. And you want to contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. Ask them about their instant offer program. You can Google them at Sharp Homes Team, or better yet, pay them a visit at homesforsaleandkc.com and start packing.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. But what if you could bank that equity right now? With TrueHold, you could sell your home for its current value so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. TrueHold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since TrueHold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit TrueHold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9393 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the job delivered. Large orders of lumber, doors, windows, paint, plumbing, anything the job needs, all from one partner. Get it today with same-day delivery. Get it tomorrow with next-day delivery on 50,000 plus products. Or get it on your timeline with scheduled delivery on everything from framing to flooring. It's time to get your whole job, all your jobs delivered. Ask about all our new delivery options at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone, now through July 28th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Almost Andy Reid here. Renner Garage Door has proudly served KC for nearly 70 years. Get your free estimate today, RENNER, forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour here on Cody and Gold.
Brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net.
The video stream is up, but you do not see Cody and I right now. Our camera's maybe a power surge or something overnight, so we're working on that. But Drew's camera
Charging him back up
is up and running, so you can stare at Drew and listen to the show.
Yeah, you guys get to enjoy my face
He
for a half
now
hour.
is also rocking the Wittizens gear. No wig, but he's got the glasses, he's got the crown, so you can just stare and watch Drew the
We
whole
didn't
time.
want him to not still be representing the Wittizens, which we have been doing all week.
That's right.
So we made him put on the crown and the sunglasses. They're kind of dark, aren't they?
Yes, it is certainly an adjustment.
I feel like I'm really having to squint at my computer and I'm like, if you could see my eyes during the time, I'm just like trying to look through to read the stuff we have in the rundown. The video stream is still up. Like you said, you can still subscribe, watch over on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. But yeah, we believe they lost a little juice. Trying
power
to get them
surge.
powered back up
Something.
so that we can get ourselves all squared away. I think they just need to charge, if we're being honest.
So we'll see how that goes. We'll let you guys know. But the stream is up and running still, so that is the good thing. All right, let's talk some Chiefs football. So we know New Heights, Kelsey's podcast. They have different guests. Sometimes they have teammates on. They've had Trey Smith on recently. They had Matt Nagy, Chiefs offensive coordinator, on. And they talked about a variety of things. But the clip that really stood out to us was talking about trick plays, right? Like we've seen in the past, Dontari Poe has had the jump pass that worked. It sounds like at one point in time, and I don't know how recent this was, at one point in time, they were working in a play for Chris Jones. Listen to this.
You know, Kels, we put that one play in for Chris Jones that we had him doing a little bit of a pass, and he just
no, Jason, you have no idea. It was bad, dude. I love Chris Jones to death. Dog. I don't know what it was, but he needs to stay on the defensive side.
It just we put it in for him, and we had him doing a little throw, and it just, I mean, usually, Coach, we put it in the incubator like with Dontari Poe. And with the jump pass.
Just let that thing simmer, baby.
You worked it for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, this one was called Swinging D, and it wasn't working, man. That play wasn't working.
Swinging D? Are you kidding me? That is amazing.
It had the name.
Oh, my gosh.
It had the reference. It
didn't work.
We ran it. He would check, and it was a throw to me. Every single throw was like 5 yards behind me at my feet. I'm just like, Coach, I don't think this is going to work.
Unbelievable and amazing. If we have Chris Jones at camp, we're going to have to talk about this. But the name for Chris Jones' trick play, Swinging D, that is unbelievable.
I think it's funny the fact that as Matt Nagy was explaining, he goes, the play was swinging D, and it didn't really. He just kept on going, like there was no pause. He just acted like there was nothing wrong with that play.
Jason was like, "What?
Oh yeah, hang on.
Did you call it? That's the name you went with."
So good. It sounds like Chris Jones can't throw a football though very well.
You know, too bad for him because the Dontari Poe one worked. Look, Travis is kind of banned from doing it. Travis had 2 passes, and they both have gone horribly. He's just sticking to laterals now. His chance to get the passes are, I'm going to throw it across the field to Kadarius Toney. That one went bad, but not because of him. Not his fault. But every time he gets in and he's talked about it before, like the pick he threw against the Giants, he's like, I only had one read. It was 10 feet from where I was. I had one read, and I still was like, I'm going to chuck it downfield because he's open. So, like, same thing applies. This play didn't work. But this is also what I love kind of about Andy Reid. If you work in the Chiefs organization, I don't care if you're the janitor or you're a player. If you got an idea for a play, they'll give it a test run. They'll try it out, man. They'll name a play Swinging D and give you a chance.
I mean, the name is just
to see if it works.
You think Chris Jones named it that?
No, I think they did. But like, obviously this is hilarious. But honestly, like a real take that I have from this, like that matters for the team. I think this is why people love Andy Reid. I think this is why, the camp can be as tough as any in football, but he knows how to still, no matter how old he is and how many years he's coached, he can adapt and relate to the 20-year-old player now or the 20-year-old player 15 years ago, right? Like, or the 33-year-old vet now. Like, he's great with that and knows how to have some fun. You're grinding at camp. It's brutal. It's hot. You want to get out. Nobody wants to be there by day 5. And he knows how to break in some fun stuff as well. And I honestly think this would be an example of that. Now, I don't know how long ago they had the Swinging D play in there.
He said 2 weeks.
No, I mean, like, was this 5 years ago?
Yeah,
I mean, Matt Nagy obviously was the OC back then, too. So I don't know if this was the first go around or this was last year. We don't know the answer to that. But I honestly think it matters. They know how to kind of mix it up a little bit. Well, at least Andy Reid has done that throughout his tenure. You're right. They allow input. Andy has talked about it openly, how some of the trick plays, it's guys, messing around at practice before practice doing something. And they say, you know what, maybe that could work.
The behind the back pass stuff has always been born in the he's having fun, or the left-handed pass stuff has always been in the he's having fun and he's goofing around or Patrick's goofing around. Like, I do think there's a part of, if you're going to make people go up to St. Joe and cook for a month at training camp, you better figure out a way for these guys to have some fun too. And if fun is, we sit in a meeting room and be like, fellas, for the next 2 weeks, we'll be practicing a play in which Chris Jones gets the snaps and throws it to Travis Kelce. Just for reference, while we're practicing, that play will be called Swinging D, and the whole room.
No, I can't.
I bet they lost it.
Can you imagine?
I bet they lost it.
Let's say the play actually is really good and it worked. Can you imagine Patrick Mahomes? Hey, Blue, hey, swinging D, swinging D.
Well, they probably wouldn't say the play like that.
But I will say,
they probably wouldn't say the play out loud like that. In the huddle, they would. But
just like we knew. And just like we
they're
knew eventually,
going to audible to it.
But Andy would have had to go to the post-game press conference because I was at the post. You know, like you stand there and they're like, "Hey, Andy, what's the name of the play in entire Po?" And everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's called Hungry Pig Right." What a name!
See, I think what would have happened in that scenario.
You think they changed it to not Swinging D?
I don't believe Andy. Andy would have said, "I can't tell you that name. You have to ask the guys." And then somebody on the team, one of the players, would have said it. I think it would be one of those where it would.
Not a clip of Andy saying Swinging D.
I don't think Andy would have said, "Yeah, we called it Swinging D."
I don't think he would say it either.
And then because you know what it is?
I think it would have had been a player that was asked about, like, can you tell us the name of the play? And everybody just starts laughing and nobody could figure out why.
This is where I'm a little bummed out is. Immediately, some of the reporters would have gotten it. But my hope would be that they were laughing and then there's just like one guy from the small paper, like just some poor 23-year-old from the Topeka Capital
Why'd you
Journal.
call it Swinging D, Coach?
And he's like, "Coach, but why is it called that?" And you're like, "Oh my God!"
Go watch the combine.
Oh, no.
Go watch the combine from a couple years ago, please, and then you'll know what we mean.
No. That would have just been. It would have been a priceless moment, and I'm sad that we're robbed of that because Chris Jones can't throw a football.
If we have Chris Jones on the show during camp, we didn't have him last year. If they grant us our interview request with Chris Jones while we're up in St. Joe, obviously we're asking about the play.
Even if you just see him in passing with like the snow cones, you have to be like, "Hey man, you guys trying to run Swinging D this year?" And just see the look on his face. Even if you guys see him in passing, you got to ask.
Yeah, I'll make sure Cody yells that as there's a bunch of kids in front of us.
I think it has to. It's a lot funnier if it's you, Cody, for whatever reason. I think it would be hilarious.
You do?
I think it would be funny. I think it's the concept of you willingly going out of your way to just mention it to Chris Jones in front of kids and everything like that would be.
Text line is having fun with it. Text line wants to know, was the pass a 5-yard pass or a 10-yard pass? Good Lord. Good Lord.
I mean,
he couldn't throw a pass, it sounded like.
They had to nix it, unfortunately, due to the fact that there just wasn't.
Drew, you look ridiculous over that. I mean, I'm looking over there.
Is this how we look?
Yes. Someone says he looks like a teenager, even more with that on.
No, the thing that's funnier is that let's say the cameras were good and everything was smooth, and you guys were wearing this. We're talking about a play called Swinging D with looking like this. Like, come on, man. It's objectively ridiculous.
I do still think we should have invested in a scepter. I think we missed out on an opportunity for like a big blingy scepter. So for somebody's coming out,
you wouldn't have wanted to hold that the whole show, though.
It would have been great. If somebody's coming out on Sunday, let me know. We need to work on a craft
get
project.
Like some sort, and not a cape, but one of the. A robe or something along those lines.
Something that looks like.
I'll let Cody wear that one in the 95-degree weather if he wants on Sunday. He can have the robe, man. It's all you. It's all you, man. That's all you.
The red velvet, but it's got to be blue, right? It needs to be blue with the fur-lined collar.
Yes.
I mean, if somebody's got one, I'll put it on. But that's for the Whittison event. If we haven't told you enough, 10:30 on Sunday will be when that starts off. There'll be free Bobby Wood Jr. haircuts. Even if you're not going to the game, we'll be right outside Gate B for Bobby. And then you'll have a chance to enter our Bobby Wood Jr. lookalike contest where you can sit in the crown seats with me and Alex for the game that day. You and a guest is the plan.
We have the most creative text line.
Someone says a 6-yard pass is considered average.
The balance was off. Somebody else suggested. That's why you couldn't throw. Come on, Chris.
Man, we could have had this play, man. I'm disappointed in you. Someone should have worked on your throws.
Someone said I look like Lord Farquaad from Shrek.
Oh, for Shrek? Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
There's a gnat in here. Oh.
And we just don't. We didn't even make him put the wig on, which is what makes
thankfully. Actually, the wig would have made it look more like Lord Farquaad, I would say.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Not my gumdrop buttons. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not the gumdrop button.
Chris Jones is an interesting player because he was in the same spot Trey Smith is in 2 years ago. 2 years ago, this show was kind of optimistic. They would get the long-term deal done with Chris Jones before the trade or the tag deadline hit. Tag deadline is now 5 days away for Trey Smith. He has now officially said something about it when being asked on Up and Adams by Kay Adams today. This is what Trey Smith had to say about the pending tag deadline that is next Tuesday.
You got tagged this offseason. I want to talk a little business. Highest paid guard in NFL history. July 15th is here. Okay?
Yeah.
Long-term deal. What's the latest from Beach?
I leave it to the hands of my agents and, obviously the front office staff of the Chiefs are elite. And, at the end of the day, I just let them take care of it. I just have to focus on being the best version of myself, being the best football player, and being prepared for training camp because St. Joe's is around the corner. And that's going to be we don't want to talk about that right now.
Yeah, you can tell how the players feel about training camp and what they're about to experience in St. Joe. And it is going to be a little toasty and some grueling practices. And what's crazy is the practices now, these players have it way easier than the guys 20 years ago did when there was not actually limitations on practice times and you could do 2 a days and things like that. That's what's crazy. It used to be way worse, and it's still a grind. But as far as the contract stuff, look, he said the right things, what you would expect him to say. He's a pro. Hey, my agent's doing that thing. I'm not too worried. All the stuff you would typically hear from a player that wants to sign the deal, wants to be still where they're at and doesn't feel, concerned about the process, at least publicly. But yeah, Tuesday's the deadline. I think, 3 o'clock our time or something like that. I'm not sure the exact time.
So
I think
it won't be during our exact show,
Yeah.
but we'll hear something like you said by the end of the weekend. Because right now I'm not panicked because he doesn't seem panicked. And he's not saying, I hope that they'll understand my value or my worth. Because this is also the difference we talked about with functional organizations and dysfunctional organizations. The Chiefs kind of felt a little more dysfunctional when Chris Jones is sitting between his two agents and missing a bunch of time, and everything kind of felt out of whack for a little bit. We joke about Trey Hendrickson and some of the other stuff where these guys are Shamar Stewart in Cincinnati, where it feels like they're just letting these guys talk and say things that you don't want them to say. Trey Smith is just saying, front office is one of the best in the business. I let them handle it. I do feel very confident this deal is still going to get done. But there is a part of me, man, that is still very worried about the what happens if they don't, because we've discussed those on this show, and it throws so many parts of the plan off kilter if they don't. It causes problems if they don't. And that's really where I start to kind of get stuck into the what happens if category. But I'm still, that answer doesn't give me any more or less confidence.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot there. I mean,
feels like the answer
a
you'd give
standard
6 months ago.
Yeah, it's a standard answer about the process of the contract and everything. I don't know if it gets done this weekend. I just think you might start hearing a little bit more about it, about either if the Chiefs are confident still, or the sides are close, or there's still a disagreement on the amount of years or whatever. But I mean, if we're sitting here Tuesday and it's noon on Tuesday and you're hours from the deadline and there's not that's when it gets a little nerve wracking. I still think it gets done overall, but something that we're going to keep on watching. As a reminder, they have to get a long-term deal done by that deadline. Otherwise, yeah, he can play this year on the team and be the highest paid guard in football and all that. But then we're doing this whole thing in the offseason again.
Yeah, and then you're like, well, we got 1 week to negotiate where everyone else can. Mm-hmm. Can we get a
and
deal
it delays,
done?
as you said. Trent McDuffie, if you want to try to get something done with him before the start of the season, you really can't if you don't get something done, most likely with Trey Smith. And by then, maybe Ahmad Sauce Gardner has a deal done, so the price goes up on Trent McDuffie. It can change
some
a bunch
other
of
guard
stuff.
might get paid in the offseason or in the middle of the season, and it might change your number on Trey. It's just, for all the reasons we joke about the teams like the Dallas Cowboys who wait forever. They should have paid Micah Parsons a year ago when the number was semi-ish reasonable.
That's the Cowboys being the Cowboys, man.
know,
they did this with Dak.
understand.
They did this with
And
CeeDee
they always
Lamb.
have to overpay because of that.
Mm-hmm.
They always pay top dollar, top of mark, highest conceivable. And you're like, why do you do this to yourself every time? Do you want to be ahead of it one singular time?
You think I'm an idiot? Do you?
Think I'm an idiot? Honestly, his drops are about as good as anybody. Although you gave us a pretty good one today, Gold.
Did I?
Uh-huh. Yeah, you said this.
It's true. It's true. I'm going to shave everything but the goatee and the stash for Bobby Wood lookalike contest that we're judging.
Good luck.
Yep. But
How do you think it's going to look?
I don't know. I've never only had the goatee and mustache ever.
Not even when in the mirror, like we said?
Oh, yeah. I've done that. I've
What
shaved
did it look like?
It looked like a completely different person.
It didn't even look like you.
No.
You felt like you didn't look like
I felt like it was a different person.
Oh, weird. It's like
But I don't know if
your
it'll be
alter
long
ego.
enough on something. I mean, like, it's we got a couple more days of this, so we're in good shape. I think it's growing the way it needs to grow for that.
You
for
grow a
Sunday.
beard pretty quick.
Yeah.
You only need about a week.
Yeah. I'll shave Sunday morning for that before we go to the K, and you'll see. And then I'll leave it for Monday's show if you want, and then it's gone forever. Forever.
Can we have 1 week? 1 week of a mustache?
No.
Alex Gold, 1 week mustache? Change his whole
We
energy.
can talk on Monday, but no. It's a completely different vibe and look.
What if the Royals, will you just like not shave it until they lose? Like at least till Monday.
Starting today?
Well,
they're off today.
You realize what I'm doing here, right?
Yes.
The All-Star
yes,
game is on Monday,
Cody. Yes.
so you, just as long as they won this weekend, I'd be okay.
I'm just asking if you're saying, like, do I agree if they don't lose it all to the Mets to keep it for a week?
Yeah.
I will agree
That's
to
not
that.
bad.
I'll agree to that. If the Royals sweep the Mets,
You'll wait till at least the Friday?
I'll wait till the Friday
The
show.
biggest Royals fans we've ever been, just for this reason right now. Yes.
Gold with a mustache for a whole week, and that thing's gonna get thick.
I
2
think
weeks.
it'd be like George Costanza in Seinfeld when he had just the mustache, and he was like, I look like an out of work porn
I
star.
don't know what's worse.
That's what Gold's gonna.
I don't know
off.
what's worse if I left just the stash or if I had the whole goatee. I mean, that's with the little patch.
What would be worse?
Yeah, just the stash, right?
I think just the stash.
Just the stash.
I think stash, it depends on the person. I think if the stash doesn't look right, you start to kind of look like a creep.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
but I'm saying some people pull off a stash well, and I think it looks okay. I just think it depends on the person and your features. It's not even necessarily about the thickness of the stash. It's more just like
some people look better with the certain facial hair for sure.
Yeah,
the stash is not as popular as it was.
I don't think it would look good on you. I think a mustache would not be a particular.
Yeah, I'm no Tom Selleck. I'm no Tom Selleck.
Okay.
I totally am with you.
But you grow a pretty thick beard.
Yeah.
What's the longest you've ever let it go?
Well, when we did the show 2 years
like a
ago.
month?
No, was it 2 or 3 years ago? Where I kept it for most of the winter. I had it for like 2 months.
Yeah.
And it was like, and I actually got it, and I got it trimmed, and I did. Yeah, it was right. There was a stretch where they had just lost to, was it the Colts or something?
And they were below 500.
And
they
it was
were
like,
3 and 4.
and I was like, I'll keep this as long as they keep winning or something like that, until they lose again, and they didn't lose the rest of the season or something like that.
They won the Super Bowl. I think.
I mean, I didn't wear it. I know I didn't have a beard at the Super Bowl though. I know I didn't. I think I shaved it right before the playoffs started or something, but I kept it through the regular season.
That was the year they lost to Cincy in the AFC title game. They didn't lose another regular season.
I know I never
game,
went to the Super Bowl with the beard. I never was doing it at the Super Bowl with the beard.
If you did like the handlebar, I think you'd have to show up in like a leather biker jacket, 100%. You'd have to get like a Harley Davidson leather jacket.
I mean, the motorcycle may not be bad these days. Yesterday, I get in my car, and all of a sudden, I'm like, why am I sweating my ass off? And the AC was blowing air, but I wouldn't say it was like hot air, but it was not cold air. Let's put it that way. And all of a sudden, so I gotta.
You got no AC?
Saturday, I think I gotta take it into the shop. I have an appointment or whatever to take it into the shop, but it's definitely not working. I guess look, it's a 2013, man. I'm surprised it lasted this long. I don't think I need a whole new AC motor, but
what's the number of car repair before you are just in the new car game?
Anything over probably $2,000 and I'm out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a 2013.
Anything over $2,000.
How many? 250,000.
No, not 250. No,
230?
I would love to get to 250. No, 228, almost to 230.
Okay.
That's a very impressive amount of miles.
The Mazda's been a great car.
That's his only car his entire life.
Yeah, you know that?
I
didn't have a car in high school or college, so it's the first car I bought after I got my first job post-college, and I bought the car. It's been a great car. Shout out to Mazda. But yeah, look, I think if any repair over $2,000, I'd be like, all right, it's time. It's time.
If
this is not going to cost
If the repair
$2,000.
covers more than the car is valued at, is where I start running.
Someone says get a new car with the Caitlin Clark money. We have talked about that.
I suggest you buy a house, not a car.
I'm just saying it figures. This is how everybody can relate to this. Like everybody can relate to this. There's always something, right? Like just when you think you're like there's always something that comes up, whether you're a homeowner or whatever. This is the perfect example. You're right. The Caitlin Clark card is going for auction tomorrow night. It's going to be up in auction for a month, and I don't know. Maybe it sells for $3,000. Maybe it sells for $10,000. But this is a perfect example. Of course, the AC is going out on the car. Of course. It's like
run to get some money.
Figures.
Life's gonna life.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to what's trending coming up next. We'll also talk a little bit more about where the Royals are at right now after a sweep against the Pirates.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Gold, and Circa Millions and Circa Survivor are back with a massive $21 million in guaranteed prizes. Circa Million, pick 5 games against the spread each week, 126 ways to win with $6 million guaranteed. Circa Survivor, 1 pick a week, no point spread, last the longest to win it all. $15 million guaranteed. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere, $21 million guaranteed. Visit circasports.com for details.
It's the Nissan 4th of July sale, and 0% financing is back at Reiselman Nissan. That's right, 0% APR for 60 months on brand new Rogue, Muranos, and Pathfinders. Or lock in 1.9% for 72 months, even 84 months at just 3.49% APR. Need power? Get up to $6,000 in total rebates on new Frontiers. These are the hottest deals of the summer, but hurry, they won't last long. Visit ReiselmanNissan.com for details. Reiselman Nissan. Every customer, every time.
Men, summertime is here, and that means vacations, summer barbecues, outdoor parties, camping, beaches, and so much more. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're like many men, you may not be feeling like yourself this summer. Perhaps your energy is low and you aren't sleeping well. Maybe your workouts aren't as good as they used to be. And if what I'm describing is you, it's very likely you're suffering with low testosterone. But low T doesn't have to affect you anymore. Just call Heartland Men's Health, get treated, and see how it changes your life. If you're like most men, you'll feel so much better. Deeper sleep, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and an enhanced sex drive as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexspyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Spies KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
The new Omaha Steak Store is now open at the Fountains in Overland Park. Stop in to save 50% off store-wide, plus get doorbuster deals. And join us July 26th for prizes, free samples, and the Chiefs cheerleaders with Casey Wolf from 1 till 3 p.m.
It's time to build that dream deck over at All Weather Decks. Schedule a free estimate today at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net. All Weather Decks, the right deck at the right price.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Holy cow, you've done it again.
We've done it again, Toby. We won the President's Award again this year. This is the 22nd time we've been awarded this awesome honor from Ford Motor Company.
But what is the President's Award?
The President's Award is the top award Ford Motor Company gives its dealers for excellence in customer satisfaction in both sales and service and their sales penetration numbers. So we are super honored to have received this award for the 22nd time.
It covers the whole works at Lewisburg Ford.
Absolutely, and it's a testament to the awesome people we have working at Lewisburg Ford and helping our customers, and it really shows with this award because it's only a few dealers that get it, and we've done it 22 times.
I guarantee you this is the best place to buy a Ford car or truck in the Midwest.
Absolutely. You couple that President's Award lineage with our no-hassle Toby Tobin pricing, it does not get any better than that.
What is your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Or LewisburgFord.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone, now through July 28th. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can watch every show, plus video clips and shorts, all right from your phone, desktop, or tablet. The Fan's YouTube channel at 965 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
What's Trending is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. The Royals get the sweep of the Pirates. Yesterday was a multi-home run game from Salvador Perez. Cags also had a home run, a 466-foot home run to dead center. That cleared the outfield wall and then like the batter's eye wall as well. Ridiculous. The Royals are off today. Tomorrow, they welcome in the New York Mets, a 7-10 first pitch. We'll talk more about that series tomorrow on the show. But this team is now 46-48, 2 under 500, 3 back from the final wild card spot.
I mean, honestly, a lot closer than I thought they were going to be heading into the All-Star break. Big series against the Mets, and then obviously coming back out of that during that time as well. So we'll see kind of how that goes here moving forward. Next up on What's Trending, the Yankees designate DJ LeMahieu for assignment. Veteran infielder cut for almost $22 million left on his contract. We think sometimes like when they eat Hunter Renfroe's deal, it hurts a little bit. That was only $8 million, but DJ LeMahieu cut from the New York Yankees. We'll see if he finds a landing spot. There was a stretch there, I'll say, that pretty much any player would have interested me offensively for the Royals. Not real interested in DJ.
No, where's he playing? Where's he playing?
Well, yeah, that's certainly part of the issue. Unless he wants to come in here and be a utility guy, but that's traditionally not really been what he's done. The 36-year-old, I will say this, the 36-year-old is a positive WAR player this year, hit 266 with a 338 on base in 45 games. He's not been a bad baseball player.
Was he going to come in and play second base?
But, I mean, what are you doing right now there?
Right now, yeah, Cam Devaney, and then Massey had a setback.
You know?
He was rehabbing from his ankle, and then he got hit by a pitch, and he has a hairline fracture in his wrist or whatever. That's why Massey's delayed.
Uh-huh. So, like, you know, I'm asking a question about would it be all that bad out of there? I'd kick the tires, but again, right now, because the offense is going and things are flowing, I'd probably let it go. He also possesses zero, and I mean zero power right now based on where he is, the big leaguer.
Elsewhere on What's Trending, Kevin Harlan has signed a contract to call NBA games for Amazon Prime Video. Remember, the NBA TV package is going to be different. This upcoming year, games will be on NBC, also be on Amazon as well. So starting this fall, Kevin Harlan will be on Amazon Prime Video, and then Amazon, they're going to decide they'll between 2-person and 3-person booths for the NBA. Sometimes they'll have 3, sometimes they'll have 2, but it's going to be a new look for the NBA, NBC, and Amazon next year.
Next up on What's Trending, speaking of contracts for media members, big congrats to our guy Nate Taylor, who officially announced today he's heading to ESPN. If you had missed his announcement yesterday, he was taken off from The Athletic. That's because he's been given an opportunity to replace Adam Teicher as the beat writer for the Kansas City Chiefs over at ESPN. So don't worry. He'll still be coming on this show. He'll still be in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah.
Our guy, Nate Taylor, just moving on up.
Same
to
beat.
ESPN. Same beat, different, different call letters for his work.
Yeah, congrats to our guy, Nate Taylor. Lastly, on what's trending, of course, we've been telling you about the Wittizens. Since we launched the Wittizens on Monday,
Royals haven't lost.
Royals are undefeated. Yep, they are. Sunday, we've got our launch event, Bobby Wood Jr. look-alike contest. Haircuts start at 10:30. If you don't want your haircut, if you don't have the hair to make it work, we will have wigs that look like mullets, so you can participate as well. The prize, one of the prizes, at least we know of, will be Crown Club tickets for you and a guest to sit with Cody and I Sunday afternoon when the Royals take on the Mets. So hope to see you guys outside Gate B. That's Gate B as in Bobby, Sunday, starting at 10:30.
Trying to make sure that we can get a little TV time, not for selfish reasons, but because we're trying to make sure the Wittizens gets a nice hard launch coming up here on Sunday. We'll have other events throughout the year. This is just the kickoff event for those. And like we've shown you before, I was about to show you on the camera what it looked like.
Having some camera issues, yep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe
Drew's got his camera up. No, Cody's
Drew,
up.
you can put mine up, maybe. I don't know. Here's all the Whittison gear to go with
Yours
it.
is up, Cody, yes.
Oh, wow, look.
Yeah, don't flip anybody off, man. That was weird when you were doing that earlier. What are you doing?
You did that once. We've got a short video of you doing that from a video stream. So what's the difference, you know? There. Now you have it. Now you have it forever, you know? That's not meant for anyone in particular. Just a general.
Who hurt you? Who hurt you?
Lots of people.
That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. We'll get to a report from Mackenzie Nelson over at KSHB 41 coming up around sports and franchises maybe in Kansas City. That's coming up in just a bit. But look, the Royals have swept the Pirates. They have put themselves in a spot where they're just 2 under 500. They're 3 back from the final wild card spot. And the bigger picture stuff, I think, is still the bigger picture stuff. We all recognize that this is a week that doesn't change everything, that there is still a ton of work to be done. Can the offense keep it up this weekend against a quality team in the Mets? Can they keep it up right out of the All-Star break? Those are all questions that I have, and I'm sure a lot of you have as well. But as it currently sits, one thing that is really, really positive is Salvador Perez, the concerns that, hey, Father Time just caught up, and this was going to be it all year. That clearly is not the case. I'm not saying he's going to hit like this the rest of the season, which is
you don't think he's going to
not a sustainable pace. But in terms of, hey, can he just find it again? He's found it again. Okay, so that's a great sign. Cags, it's 2 games, but boy, oh boy, what we saw last night in 466-foot home run was what we probably already thought we were going to see 2 or 3 times by now. You know what I mean? If we're being real, just with the expectation of the high bar that has been set for him as the Royals' top prospect and one of the top prospects in baseball. So now it's a full week now where the offense has looked really, really good.
Yeah, it has, and it's come and look, this is like the broken record on the good end. It's come because Bobby, Salvi, and Vinny are all hitting together. But there was a point of me this year that really thought, man, is this it for Salvi? Like, did he just lose it? And I know he's always someone on the text center is like, well, he's always been a streaky hitter. I'm like, yeah, sure, but
it was more than just a streak.
He's 35 years old or 34 years old, and it was the first 3 months of the season. 2 months of the season. Yeah, I was pretty worried that age and Father Time, which has beaten a lot of players, had caught up with him and eventually gotten the better of him. It wasn't on a crazy thing, but now he's hit 7 home runs in the last month. He's hit 5 last month. He already has 4 this month in just 9 games. He's hitting 320, I think, since June 10th now. He's hitting 374 this month. He hit 300 last month. So obviously, he is doing a better job. He seems to be back into his rhythm. And what's important for that is that's when all the pressure gets off. That's when it's easier for a guy like Nick Lofton to just get 1 hit. We don't need anyone at the bottom of the order. We don't need the bottom of the order to go 4 for 8 today in order to get 3 runs. We don't need Drew Waters, and I know he's on the IL now, but Nick Lofton and Kyle Isbell to get us 4 hits today so we can maybe get 3 runs. No, we just need you guys to chip in. I also think that helps guys like Jack Caglianone, who is certainly not just all problem solved because he had a 466-foot home run yesterday.
But he has to feel so much better the last 48 hours than he did prior. I mean, nothing was going right, really. I mean, the results were just not there. And that takes a toll on anybody. And now that the team is winning, the offense and the guys that they really are counting on are hitting, just go out there and play baseball. And now, for at least 2 games, it's just 2 games, but you're seeing the results of the hard work that he's been putting in behind the scenes, and you're seeing the actual results. And so today's I bet you today's off day is probably the best off day there's been a few of them since he's been called up, but I bet this is the best he's felt on a single day off he's had since being in the big leagues. And I bet you it's not even close.
Yeah.
And it also had a great call from Jake Eisenberg last night on this one.
Falter delivers, and Caglianone blasts it. Deep center field. Cruz is back. He looks up. It's way out of here. Jack Caglianone's second home run at Kauffman Stadium is a moonshot to dead center. 466 feet. 110.8 off the bat. Whoa.
Imagine if he really got it.
Homer for Jack Caglianone. The Royals lead 3-0 in the bottom of the 4th inning.
And that was one of those home runs where you're like, oh, my goodness. And yeah, it feels like maybe he still didn't even get 100% of it. That is crazy. That home run, that was the power we saw in the minors. That was the talk that everybody has had around him. That was awfully impressive last night. I don't care if it's the Pirates or you do that in the big league game. It doesn't matter.
What do you think that feels like on the pitcher end? When you just when he hits like that, you're just like, oh, damn.
I mean,
there's
no hesitation. You know, immediately when there was contact, you didn't need to turn around and look. You knew that thing was gone. There's no reason to go look and watch if you were the pitcher.
No, you can probably just let that one go. I mean, it is that's an exciting call, obviously, and a lot of fun.
Jake Eisenberg right here on 96.5 The Fan last night.
It almost hit Crown Vision. This is as good as I felt about this team since the slide that seemed like it was taking them out of the playoffs for sure. But also, there's still just I think what I hate about this is it always comes back to the problems where you run into where you're kind of like a mid-level team where it's damn it, if you just let the slide be a little less bad, you'd be in a playoff spot right now. And we'd all be feeling a lot different about it. But now, my statement is still, you got work left to do. I am excited about watching the Royals every night again. The games have been fun, back-to-back walk-offs. Jackson.
I guess last night technically wasn't a walk-off.
No, it wasn't. But back-to-back late inning wins with a walk-off from 2 nights ago. But all of the fun that comes with it. But then I'm left with a feeling of, there's more work left to do. You've left yourself more work. You got to go out and take 2 or 3 against the Mets too. And then when you come back from the break, you got to do it again. And I know we're not going to get into all of that today necessarily ahead of the game on Friday. But yeah, I mean, Salvi doing that, Cags hitting homers, only being 3 games out of a playoff spot, starting to feel pretty good again. The Whittison launch, really helping things.
They haven't lost since. I would love to sit here on Monday and still say they haven't lost since it launched for a full week. That would be fun.
That would be fun. Who do you think? I mean, Drew, what would a goatee look like for you?
Can you grow one?
No. I wouldn't be able to.
I could grow one, but I would need 6 months.
The only thing that
6 months.
The only thing
I'm just telling you what I need.
The only thing I can get is this down here, or in a little bit of the
you
mustache.
Get the
peach fuzz, yeah.
It all grows here. Maybe 3 months.
Okay.
Maybe I could do it because this part of the
goatee.
It
might actually take me 6 months.
This part of the goatee I could get gold. And if you gave it 3 months, this part would eventually grow. And I'm not sure it'd look great, but it would grow in. The side connection, I can feel hair there. I haven't shaved in about a week. I don't know, man. I'm not optimistic. I think 6 months is probably what I need. You could grow a goatee in a week. How's it feel? Oh, look at Alex. You can just grow a beard whenever
it's annoying having to shave often, I'll be honest.
Yeah, because honestly, you'd probably enjoy it more if you enjoyed having facial hair more.
Right.
If you could just get one procedure that took 10 minutes and you never had to shave again, you'd do it?
Yeah.
Or you want the option at some point in your life. But it's never going to go back. You can't get it back.
Oh, then just clean shaven the rest of my life. That's fine with me.
You're good.
For sure. Yeah.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
This is a pre-random question.
Is it? Is it? We also have a snitch line coming up in about an hour.
Yeah, and multiple people when I had said earlier that I had to do.
People want to know why you were on probation.
I've said it before. It was because
you was this the mailbox thing?
This is the mailbox thing. They put me on 3 months probation, and I had to do.
You were stealing people's mail. That's a federal offense.
That's not what it was. I hit mailboxes when I was 18 years old, and technically that time I didn't hit mailboxes, but in the effort of disclosure, I had hit them before, so I was definitely guilty of the crime I was charged with, even though I didn't commit the crime that day. So And then I was assigned 20 hours of community service. I only had to do 10 because some wheeling and dealing. Well, here's why.
That's crazy. They give you 20 hours and they're like, you know what? We're also going to only do 10 hours of it.
That's not what happened. So I was working community service at, I believe it was Harvesters.
Okay.
And I was there for 2 hours, helping people get food into their car. And some guy came by and he was like, hey, I need people for Harvesters over the distribution plant, running pallet jacks, big stuff. And he's like, if you come over there instead, I am allowed to offer double time for the hours you work over there. I'm like, are you actually allowed to do that? He's like, I'll sign it right now. So I went over there to work double time for that guy for 8 hours, and then I was done.
Huh.
What was it?
Loophole.
I guess. I don't know. It seemed pretty shady.
Someone said their kids had to stop listening to the show now that they know about your past.
Now that I'm a criminal?
Now they know about your past. They're done.
Can I just have regrets?
Their kids can't listen.
Can your kids learn about regret and life and bad decision making
chances
that leads to punishment?
Rehabilitation.
Learn something from you.
Rehabilitation. I haven't hit a mailbox since.
Well, it worked.
Not a single day.
It worked then. There we go.
The rehabilitation
Have you had the
worked.
urge to hit a mailbox?
No.
Okay.
I will say, based on the text that we've gotten today, I think Snitch Line might be really interesting.
Yeah, I would say so. 913-586-7965. Snitch Line is around 110, okay? 110 or so today. A week or so ago, we mentioned the WNBA was announcing expansion, okay? And they have a $250 million expansion fee, which is a huge increase from where it's been. We all know Caitlin Clark is responsible, I don't think it's a secret at all, for the growth of the WNBA. And over the next 4 years, they're going to add, Philly, Cleveland, and I'm missing the other city. It's not off the top of my head right now.
Denver? Is that?
Detroit, because that was the comment from...
That's right.
Sophie Cunningham was like, nobody wants to go to Detroit or Cleveland or whatever. And we're like, hey, you're in Indianapolis, and Drew got all upset. It was a whole thing. Anyway, Mackenzie Nelson, friend of the show from 41. She's also our team captain for our KC Current Media Game team that we're going to be on Saturday night. If you're already going to the KC Current game Saturday, stick around in your seat at halftime. You could watch Cody and I embarrass ourselves playing soccer. But Mackenzie is our captain. Anyway, she had a report about the WNBA still is looking towards Kansas City, even though it's not happening in this phase of expansion.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of an interesting approach. One, the NBA is talking expansion this week. It's a part of their meetings. So they're kind of having some of those conversations. So for those who are like, I'd like to hear more about NBA expansion, because I did look at this and I wondered about the WNBA, because two of the cities they chose were cities in which the WNBA had already failed, and failed somewhat recently. Not like the Kansas City failed in having the Kings 40 years ago, like a franchise that failed not that long ago in the WNBA. So why not include them? I actually thought it was a really good sign that in her reporting, it had said that the WNBA wanted to make it clear that Kansas City is not ruled out and that they take Kansas City seriously, but that they just didn't hit the rounds in this cycle. As you know, the Long family
and Mahomes.
And Mahomes and the Long family and that ownership group, the ones who run the KC Current, have been big and hard pushing for a WNBA team in Kansas City. When I see that report, it just makes me think we're getting a WNBA team. It's just a decade away. Like, that just as long as the WNBA continues its current growth and they keep showing the numbers they're doing, and you, for your Caitlin Clark card, probably hope for the same, or whoever's, going to buy it and sell it after you, hopes for the same.
Yeah, if anyone you want to buy the card, by all means, place your bids tomorrow night, please. Go ahead and start
Starting
bidding.
at 7 p.m.?
7 p.m. tomorrow night, yeah. If you want to start the bidding, it starts at 1,000. Just let's get it going.
You know what? Get the initial bid in, you know?
Yeah.
If you buy Alex's card...
You can come
locally,
in a fan club.
You can come into a fan club for sure. You buy it locally, I'll let you come in. That was exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's not even Alex saying that. It's not my card or my money, but you can come in for a fan club if you buy it locally.
Yeah.
Buy it locally, notice. I'm not trying to get you. You're going to ask me for a plane ticket to fly in from New York if you're the owner of Alex's Caitlin Clark card. But no, I really do think that the WNBA is not as far away as we think in Kansas City. I think it's a realistic possibility, but that it's in that 7 to 10.
Yeah, 2032 to 2035. I've been consistent on the whole the stadium and franchise stuff and we'll know by 2032. But until the Royals and Chiefs have a conclusion to this stadium saga, I don't really want to talk too much, like in terms of like really getting excited or consider anything about a new franchise in this town. Need to figure out the financial mechanisms for the Chiefs and Royals and what that means for their future in the metro area.
Sure.
Do you think the reason why they're not getting one in this cycle is because of the Royals and Chiefs stuff that they.
I think it might be
like
part
if the WNBA approached the city and was like, "Hey,
well, they have the arena already.
We have interest." I don't know if maybe different or the states were like, "Look, we need to try to figure out what we got going on here. Then we'll touch base with you again afterwards."
I think from the league perspective, some of it would be market size still. Like they're always still concerned. With Kansas City, as much as it's grown, it's still considered a smaller market. And I understand they have teams in Indianapolis, which is a comparable size, but think they're adding Philadelphia. Okay, that's a massive media market.
Huge.
Detroit is still a much bigger market than Kansas City.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. The arena, you might need some updates if they were to get a team, but in general, the arena is pretty much,
arena's great,
good to go. We know they have the ownership group that's interested in it. So I think, like, if you told me in 2035 will they have a WNBA team, assuming the league doesn't, stop growing the way it's growing, then yeah, I think we will. But honestly, like, just get the local stuff figured out with the Chiefs and Royals first before we worry about adding another franchise.
I agree, but also I am a little surprised that when they went to go add those other cities, that Kansas City wasn't a stronger contender in this round, knowing the already shown success that Kansas City has shown for women's sports in the city. They got an ownership group and fans who go to a purpose-built stadium for women's soccer, and it is a very popular destination. There's now a huge development project going on right around that stadium under the same purpose. So, like, we've shown an ability to support women's sports.
Well,
so, like, part of me is like, why wouldn't you want that tied together? The idea that the Long family in Kansas City has shown an ability to support. We support sports
in this
general,
phase, probably because the WNBA wants to be very careful about expanding. Like, they're having this huge momentum, and Caitlin Clark's behind all of it. They don't want to add 8 new teams and be screwed in 5 years and hurt the value of the league and all that. So they're probably being very cautious. And then, as I said, 2 of the markets they're adding are much bigger cities.
That was why I asked what it was, because the WNBA knows how successful and good Kansas City is at the promotion of the current and the love that the city has for them and all of the things that have gone into that. I just wonder if the city, not that they hindered away from that, but they wanted to focus on getting the Chiefs and Royals stuff done, because I feel like I would, we've seen how, this situation keeps on dragging on and on. Imagine adding, we need to get into WNBA expansion talks as well. It just sounds like it'd be something thrown in there that they don't want to deal with right now.
Somebody said Casey won't need a WNBA expansion team if another team moves here from another city, but this is an interesting time. Why would you move a team now with the growth?
You would rather have an expansion team.
And I'll just be honest. Yep. Teams, like, for the same as the NBA, if you are moving a team, Kansas City is not where you're moving it. I love this city. I love it for all the reasons, but for what Gold mentioned in market size, and I know that this happened with the Thunder once, so, like, it's like, well, it happened before. That's just, it's so rare. And the reason why, the reason why Oklahoma City got it is because they were a temporary home for a team and it thrived. Because they happened to get a random test market that, extenuating circumstances allowed, in my opinion. More often than not, you got to get a new franchise. A old franchise is not going to move here. That, like St. Louis didn't move they moved to LA, right? They tend to move.
Thinking of St. Louis, they tried to get a WNBA team. They had Jason Tatum behind their bid because he's from St. Louis, and they obviously did not get one during this round either.
Nope.
The only NBA team, because I don't know how comparable Charlotte is to New Orleans, but when the Bobcats moved to New Orleans for the Pelicans and that stuff, but I want if Kansas City got one, Cody, it would have to be like the Memphis Grizzlies have actually had this come up multiple times. Then relocating from Memphis, like if it's comparable, I wonder if that's there's a jump that's not too far, where even fans maybe still stick to that team. I don't know.
There's also a scenario where, fast forward 5 to 10 years from now, that you might actually be thankful you didn't get one during this first round. And what I mean by that, one, you'll know the league's more stable for sure in 10 years. Like, we'll know whether this growth is sustainable. We'll also know, like, the talent pool continues to grow. And you look at the college ranks with some of the, I know, Drew, you've brought up Juju Watkins and others, but does that continue? Like 10 years from now, is that funnel, is that pipeline still that? And if it's not, then you might be saying, well, thank goodness they didn't get an expansion team because the league doesn't have the same momentum anymore. So you'll actually, I think, have a safer investment if you are the Long family in this case. If, let's say, you have to wait 5 to 10 years to get a team versus getting one in the next 2 years. There's a chance that you will. Now, with that said, that expansion fee is going to go up from $250 million in 10 years.
500.
So you have to have a bigger ownership group maybe, but I just think from a city supporting it, there's a chance it could be a good thing.
Because the league would have grown.
And you'll know for sure if it's stable or not. All right. Up next, let's talk more about rivalries in sports. What Lance Leipold at Big 12 Media Days had to say about a rivalry with one of the local schools, plus the random question of the day coming up here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Vernier every Wednesday at 12:30.
We need to nip this in the bud. We need to
Nip what in the bud?
On your home for Royals baseball, 96.5, The Fan.
Missouri sports fans, I got great news for you. Underdog is now available to play in your state, and you can go yard all baseball season long with Underdog's Champions Game. As we get ready to roll into the 4th of July holiday, the baseball action is heating up, and Underdog is a leading place to make all of your sports selections. To play, all you have to do is download the app and choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats. You can choose from things like home runs, total bases, and so much more. And once that entry feels good, you can play with as little as $1, and if you get everything right, you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Maybe it's time for Vinny Pasquantino to start heating up, and you love the over on his total bases this weekend. Download the Underdog app and sign up with promo code BOB to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit with promo code BOB. Must be 18 and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See UnderdogFantasy.com/web/deposit-match-terms. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Don't let clogged drains slow you down. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews ensures your peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. But what if you could bank that equity right now? With TrueHold, you could sell your home for its current value so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. TrueHold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since TrueHold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit TrueHold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9393 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
The Outlaws are coming. Get ready for the electrifying Show Me Shootout Truck and Tractor Pull Saturday, July 19th at the Johnson County Fairgrounds. 11 elite classes pulling on 2 tracks, featuring diesel pickups and semis battling it out for supremacy. Tickets starting at $20 at the gate. The Show Me Shootout Truck and Tractor Pull, July 19th at the Johnson County Fairgrounds. Gates open at 4 p.m. and the action starts at 7 p.m. Check out Show Me Shootout Warrensburg, Missouri on Facebook for details.
At Verizon, lock in our best price ever on the best 5G in Kansas City and be the best you. Check where your ride is for your trip into the office. Get that almost impossible dinner reservation and save big with Verizon while you do it all. Switch today and pay $45 a month for a single line. That's right, just $45 a month when you bring in your phone with unlimited welcome with auto pay plus taxes and fees. Stop by your nearest Verizon store today. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Rankings based on root metrics root score report dated 2H 2024. Your results may vary. Additional terms apply.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC, powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing your schedule, responding to Jim's long emails, leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC starting at $699.99 at Dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
Give me those sauces, grab the chicken strips, let's dunk them in there. There's nothing like it. Hey, I'm Joey. And I'm Josh, and we're team members at our local Chick-fil-A. And a little thing you'll love about the Chick-fil-A chicken strips is dipping them in our sauces. My sauce is the barbecue sauce. If you wanted to add sweet, tangy flavors, there's nothing like it. I love the garden herb ranch sauce, but if you want a little bit more kick in the spicy side, you can mix it with buffalo sauce. Dipping them in our sauces, it is perfection.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Team members paid for their testimonials.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done, fast. We've got a huge variety of metals in stock, and we cut to size, fast. Bottom line, we get it done fast, so you get it done fast. Doesn't get easier than that. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Find a store or buy online at metalsupermarkets.com.
If Old Spice Deep Sea Super Hydration Body Wash were music, what would it sound like? Start with the deep sounds of Old Spice's ocean waves and kelp. Layer on the smooth, renewing moisture. You wouldn't hear any parabens or phthalates because Old Spice Deep Sea hasn't got any. But you would hear that vitamin B3 for healthier looking skin. So while your regular body wash sounds like this, Old Spice sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Allstate knows your home means everything to you, and you'll do anything to protect it. But not just with any protection. You want insurance that'll be there for you and your family when you need it most. And that's what Allstate's been doing for over 60 years. So check Allstate first for home insurance you can rely on. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Coverage subject to terms, qualifications, and availability. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Brought to you by Climate Control Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Visit ClimateControlKC.com. Climate Control has been serving KC homeowners for over 35 years and know how to get your cooling system ready to handle the scorching hot summer. Schedule your AC system tune-up for just $59. Don't wait. Visit ClimateControlKC.com today. Climate Control Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
We'll get to the random question of the day in just a bit. Of course, Snitch Line coming up in the next half hour as well. Hope you guys are having a great Thursday. It's Cody and Gold. Video stream back up and running with both of us, I believe, on camera. Drew has taken off the wig and everything as well. We'll take a break from that.
Camera together?
No, I'm not gonna do that on purpose today. Not today. You know,
we're above board now.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's above board.
Saw the big boss today. You know, everything seemed good. She didn't say, "I'll see you guys in the office later." You know, we're square.
Let's talk about college football for a bit. Big 12 media days.
You guys are throwing some shade at. I think you guys are throwing some slight shade. I don't know if it was.
So let's get to the first conversation. We can get into to what I asked you during the break. So Big 12 media days wrapped up in Frisco yesterday. And Lance Leipold, the head coach at Kansas, was talking about rivalries in sports, and here's what he had to say.
Well, you know, rivalry games are what makes college football so special and in of itself. And I didn't really realize when I first got to Lawrence that the Kansas-Missouri game was more of a rivalry than Kansas State. Yeah. But now with the two teams in conference, you know, we've got to do a better job making that a balanced one in the in-state rivalry. But to go to Columbia this year will be special. I'm sure there's a lot of people on both sides of it. They're going to be fired up, and to see some of these rivalries get renewed is special. And again, will be a great time, and we'll be looking forward to it.
So I think he's completely correct that, you know, what makes college football special is rivalries. Unfortunately, the people in charge of course, with realignment, ruined a lot of the rivalries in sports. We know KU and MU are going to play for the first time in over a decade, in football at least, coming up in Columbia in September. And it's going to be a great weekend with the Chiefs playing on a Friday night and then KU MU playing on Saturday, NFL Sunday. It's going to be an awesome weekend in September. I think it's not even close, despite how long they haven't played football. Absolutely. KU's biggest rival is MU, and MU's biggest rival is Kansas. And there's historical context why that's the case on top of the sports reasons and why the real hate exists.
Goes back to the 1800s.
When we talk about,
it's one of the oldest rivalries.
Yeah, and when we talk about the stadium and the state line that where the Royals are going to play or not play, or the Chiefs are going to play or not play, we see the text all the time. A lot of you are just simply against moving to Kansas because you, quote, hate Kansas, right? Like that extends to this. So, well, Kansas State has owned KU in football. That's a fact. I'm a KU alum. I obviously recognize that. There's no debate, though, and I know this as a KU alum, that Kansas's biggest rival is the University of Missouri, and it's not close.
I think the only thing that almost changed it was the original conference realignment. Because what happened then, even though it was lying to yourselves a little bit, was Missouri had to go to the SEC. Nobody blames them. They made the right choice at the time. But at that time, Kansas was like, you're dead to us.
Sure.
And they did that from an athletic department, too. Like, you're dead to us. We nothing you now. And, like, it wasn't true, but it was true because they weren't really playing sports against each other anymore. So you might be rooting for their downfall, but because they weren't playing against each other, I do think it lessened and lessened and lessened over time. But now that they're playing sports again together, and the other two had a chance to create the, like, big old rivalry that was lying to themselves, like KU and K-State, the Big 12 really hammed that up. And Missouri and Arkansas, the SEC really...
It is a rivalry. It's just not the biggest rivalry.
It's the second biggest.
Yeah. Yes.
That's all. It's KU and K-State's a rivalry.
Of course.
For the same reasons Missouri and Kansas.
I mean, it's got its own name, so yes, it absolutely is.
No, I know, but like, I gotta be honest. Like, I don't buy into Farmageddon. It's fine.
Well, no.
You know,
Farmageddon's K-State and Iowa State.
I know, but I'm just saying.
He's
like,
saying he doesn't.
I'm saying it has a name and it doesn't like move the needle for me.
Sure. Like the Sunflower Showdown does, or the Border War, especially in this case for MU and KU.
Much better name, by the way. That one's the best name. But when you start looking at which position they're in, it all came back around to full circle. And I was at the very first time these two teams played together. If you'd only had to go to this game to do it. The very first time that these teams had played together in any capacity, after they had left and they'd all said we're never playing each other, was a charity game at the Sprint Center. There was half MU and half Kansas, and they divided them in the building as such. And if you went to just that game, a charity game that meant nothing in the standings, there's just no way you can't tell me that that's the rivalry. Leipold's not saying anything wrong. It's just K-State's biggest rival is KU.
Yeah.
It's a weird position to be in. Your biggest rival, you're their second biggest rival. So it kind of feels
it happens.
weird.
Now, as far as the locals this year, K-State has the best chance to get to the college football playoff, and it's not close.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is not close. You and I, this is what Drew was referencing during the break. We were going through, like, obviously KU, everybody knows Jaden Daniels is their quarterback. So if I say name a KU football player heading in, most people are going to say Jaden Daniels. K-State, most people are going to say Avery Johnson. And because Missouri's quarterback is not Brady Cook anymore and there's some uncertainty there, I was asking, like, how many MU football players can you know? Drew is acting like we were being mean, but it's just the reality of it.
No, I was joking.
And you hesitated to give us the answer as well. Until you got to their quarterback.
Bo Pribula is the guy that, I mean, Sam Horn obviously is another one. Matt Zollers, all ironically quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I don't know the first name, but Hardy, the running back who they just got in from the Sun Belt, is there too. But again, this is not from, like, I host the podcast covering college football. Like, it's part of my thing to know some of this.
To know the locals.
If you're just a casual college football fan, even if you're a Missouri fan and you just enjoy, like, you're not too far in it. Even Missouri fans probably couldn't name a lot of the players.
I still
on the
think
roster.
they're going to win.
Portal movement.
I still think Missouri will win like 9 games.
They're over under 7.5. Yeah, the schedule's nice.
I would take the over. I still think they win 8 games. K-State will win the most of the 3 locals this year.
It's a guessing game at quarterback is my concern. Because the text line said the same thing. Have you seen Missouri's schedule? It's a good schedule.
Last year, though, was when it was prime. Everybody agreed. Last year was prime for a college football playoff berth, though.
The weird part about this is Missouri's non-conference is tougher, but the in-conference is the exact same. For some reason, the SEC, I don't know why they did it, but in 24 and 25, the way that they did things was they would have the exact same conference opponents, but you just flip home and away. The schedule from this is the thing.
But that's a big difference, right? Last year was more favorable for home and away, too.
So this year, this is where if Bo Pribula works, if he's Brady Cook, he didn't even have to be better than Brady Cook. If he's Brady Cook and he's healthy, I think they can win 10 games and they can make the college football playoff because their 4 toughest games, 3 of them are at home. They play Alabama at home. They play South Carolina at home. They play they play Texas A&M at home. They play Oklahoma on the road, which is tougher. But if they can get through, and they also, not to say that this is an excuse, there's no excuse, but they also don't have a away game until week 8 of the season or week 9 of the season. Missouri's schedule sets up perfectly for them, where if Bo Pribula works out as the guy, or Sam Horn, whoever wins it, I think it's Pribula.
Yeah, some of their fans
they
were not
definitely make the playoffs.
Some of their fans were not happy actually how front loaded the home games were on their schedule, just because of like for travel and
They only
then
have
also the
4 road
temperature and
games.
everything. Yeah.
What is the Kansas Missouri game too early?
No,
I mean, I would
because it can't be any later.
They're not allowed to. The SEC doesn't schedule or whatever.
Oh,
but
we're the SEC. We only schedule SEC teams after.
To answer
September
your question,
6th.
assuming there wasn't some stipulation on it, yeah, I would rather them play in October or so. When let's say both teams are decent, then you have even more hype. Now the argument goes the other way. If both teams, if they're disappointing,
one of the team stinks,
But KU and MU, of course, September 6th at 3:30. Someone on the text line, you're lying to yourself. Someone says, "I'm a Mizzou fan. MU doesn't think about KU anymore." Stop lying to yourself. Stop. You're lying. You're just lying to yourself. That's just a big lie. Try to act that. Come on. Now.
And
this is what happens in rivalries. They both no, you don't. No, I don't care.
That's just lying to
and by
yourself.
the way, and no offense to you, Alabama doesn't think of Missouri either. Let's be totally honest.
Sure.
All right, this is no shade, but we're going to keep it real. If it's a rivalry, Auburn has not been that great at all for the last few years. They've been fine or poor. Alabama still thinks of Auburn when they play that game. Like, you're not above them because of the rivalry makes it that much bigger of a deal. Where I don't know. The thing that's interesting, Cody, is that if this became a thing that happened every year,
should be,
and we know it was, what it could turn into potentially in the schedule is just like Clemson and South Carolina, like Louisville and Kentucky. All of a sudden, you put that at the very last game of the schedule, the season ends with KU-MU. I mean, I think that would be awesome because we see it where other conferences play cross-conference games against their biggest rival to end the season. If it turned into a yearly thing, then maybe that's eventually what it becomes.
It should be yearly.
I agree.
Especially, you know what? Honestly, now more than ever, what conference you belong to and the rivalry associated with being in that conference and geographically aligned, that's out the window.
Yeah, the dam was broke on that a long time ago.
Yeah, but it's it's way busted now. It's bad. And so, forget the conferences you play in. Forget that part. College football's got to find a way to maintain the one thing that they have different than other professional sports, because this goes back to the same thing. If I wanted to watch a sport just for the play, I wouldn't choose college football. I'll just watch the NFL. It's a way better product.
It's the same thing that Jay Billis said about college basketball. If I want to see good basketball, I watch the NBA.
Yeah. I watch it for that. I watch it for the rivalry
pageantry, the bands, all of that. All of that.
I think
they play every year.
Shout out to Joe and Gladstone. I think he has the perfect comp for this whole K-State, KU thing. He said K-State is like Michigan and Michigan State. They hate each other. Michigan State's biggest rival is Michigan, but Michigan's biggest rival is Ohio State.
Yep. Yeah. Bingo. Yeah, it's exactly right. Exactly right. All right, let's get to it.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew, over in the text line, 913-586-7965. Of course, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. Live stream the show all 4 hours every single day. Random question today is brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. So today, I'm going to ask you a question about the clip that obviously went viral yesterday of Kirk Cousins handing them a headshot of himself at Great Clips in order to get the cut in the style and desire in which he likes, which honestly, if you've had a bad haircut, I kind of do get it. Like the idea of really wanting to make sure you get the haircut you want out of there.
Great Clips.
Dude, he got a lifetime.
I know.
The Chipotle thing. He got the lifetime pass to get his unlimited Great Clips haircuts forever. So, I mean, man's living now, Gold, outside of it. So the question I have for you today is, we've done food and gas and those kind of thing, like a life thing. I want to know what service you get at least 6 times a year that you would sign up for a lifetime supply of and you think that you would get value out of. It could be 3 to 6 times a year, but I don't want you just saying well, I want Chipotle for life. I don't want this to be food related. I want this to be a service like a haircut. Is barber the one you would choose first?
I mean, it'd save me a lot of money.
How often do you get your haircut?
Every 3-ish weeks.
Yeah, see, I don't think I'd hate being an every 2 weeks haircut, but I'm not paying for a haircut every 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If it was free, and I would go every 2 weeks. Just your hair would just look consistently the same the entire time. Yeah,
we'd all go every 2 weeks if we could just swing the price. What's a haircut running you guys these days?
Depends on where I go.
Is this too personal a question?
No.
It depends on where I go. It could be anywhere from.
If I go to the actual barber
tip
that
or
I'm
cut alone.
What do you mean?
Tip
No,
included.
with total package.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if I go to Sports Clips, it'll run me 35 to 40. If I go to the lady that I was going to for a while, admittedly I haven't gone in a while, out in Lee Summit, that was like a $55 to $60+ ordeal.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, mine's about 50. And I like the person who gives me a haircut, so it's not that I...
Someone said oil change for life on every vehicle.
I probably consider... I mean, that'd be strong.
Oil changes these days have gone up in price
that's a
big
really
time.
good one,
for the
actually.
synthetic stuff, it's running like $100 a pop. Somebody will say, just do it yourself. We're not doing that conversation here, though. We're not.
We're not about the skill that you've almost talked yourself into getting into before.
Yeah.
And that is definitely one of them where I'm like, man, should I do more? Because I can do summer car repair and I used to do more. And then I got older and I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'll just pay someone to do it. Like I can do an oil change, but I don't want to do an oil change.
Yeah, what other service though would you mean?
So somebody mentioned massages because they do one like they get them like 3, 4, 5 times a year.
Great.
I mean, that would be nice. Somebody said
those are expensive too.
House cleaning. House cleaning. Mine would be lawn care more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I'll change even if it meant I'll pay for the haircut. I'll do like if you told me if every 2 weeks someone came and did my lawn care for free, I hate it. I'm getting actively I'm hating it more every day. Every time I have to go out there to do yard work, I hate it more. And I'll do it. I'll trim everything. And I hate it so much. And I'm just like, I got to pay somebody. It's making me irrationally angry to have to do yard work.
A lot of people saying landscaping and mowing.
That's not surprising. Oil changes would be kind of nice, though. Wouldn't it be nice? I want one of the one, though, that I can do it like as a, because you have like a car wash
I
thing.
thought my stylist was expensive. You guys are getting ripped off. That's the going rate. I actually think
that's
the barber.
number.
I think the price of the barber actually is very competitive. I really do. That's what it is.
Someone says I go to Great Clips, $20 plus a $5 tip. So
Yes, are there cheaper? Is there a place you can go that is cheaper than the barber? Sure, but I'm saying for a barber, I think the rate's
To
competitive.
be honest, even if I think you're going
Agreed.
to one of the chain ones that is like say at a level slightly above, like what you think of like a Supercuts or a Great Clips or those like mid-tier ones before you're getting to like an actual.
If you're going to an actual barber shop,
barbershop,
yeah, I think it elevates.
I don't think that's crazy, man.
My brother.
I'd like to not pay that much. I'd like to pay $20, but the Great Clips cut hit or miss in my youth.
My brother's haircut is $70 before tip.
That's in Florida, so maybe things are more expensive.
His
also.
barber.
Maybe it's more expensive in Florida too. And if you were in New York, I'm sure the haircut price would be double or triple.
Someone said tattoos for life. Hey,
if you're into that, for sure.
Somebody
That's
says
expensive.
laundry. They want like a like a fluff and fold.
Just somebody.
Like they say they got 3 kids. There's 2 of them. They just want laundry forever. That wouldn't it be nice to just put your clothes in a bag and they just came back cleaned?
Of course,
and looking good.
Yeah,
I think a personal chef. Somebody mentioned that as well. I mean, that would be, I think, the most ideal.
What if you only got it though, like once a month? Is it worth it? Would you trade that instead of the haircuts? Let's say you get the haircut once a month, or the personal chef once a month.
Oh, chef once a month.
But he only comes once a month.
Yeah,
he can't do a month's worth of prep for you. He can prep.
I
he can make you
know.
a couple meals, maybe a week's worth. But
I think him making a week's worth of healthy meals, or even, I mean, depending on how you could freeze it. I think there's a way that you could bounce around enough meals that they make in that one span for 2 weeks. I think I
all
would
kinds
take
of places. Maybe we are paying too much. Are we all paying too much for our haircuts?
It sounds like it based on these.
Everybody's
tests.
acting like we're overpaying. Yeah,
We're overpaying. Other people go to this barber. I've seen other people get a haircut from this person.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like
they do very well.
I'm not
They're
the
constantly
only,
busy.
I'm not the only person paying this price.
The person who cuts my hair just moved places too.
I mean, the car repair thing would easily, because that's just not my thing. And like even today with the AC thing, like
You can do the AC thing. I told you. Get on a YouTube
well, just
video.
the kit. I'm not saying like finding out like if I need a whole new something, right? No, the AC recharge kit, I would have to watch a YouTube video on, I think, in order to do that.
Someone said a hobby box of sports cards every week.
That's
That's not a service. That's just a product. Yes, I would also like a new laptop delivered once a month or something. Like, I mean, yeah, it's got to be a service.
I think the massage is a really underrated one too, because I don't know, because have either of you guys had massages?
I have, yeah.
Would you say it's worth the
they're great
experience?
But they're expensive. I haven't had one in probably a year and a half or so.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
More recently than I was expecting to say. I've never had it. I've never had a massage.
Ever?
I've never had one either, period.
You've not gotten like a massage envy place randomly for never.
I'm getting one next. I'm getting one later this month when I go to vacation on the family vacation. We are going to
spa day.
We are going
you
to
and the wife.
Nixon family spa day.
Yes, my brother also is coming along. My sister and her boyfriend is also coming. We are all going to go get massages. So I am.
There you go.
And between all of us, I think only my brother has gotten a massage before. So I'm very excited because I think it is going to be revolutionary for how I feel. Because I've never gotten it done.
Well, we'll see.
I don't know what type of massage it is exactly, but I'm just looking forward to having my shoulder rubbed out because my shoulder's been having some problems here the last 2 years.
That was somebody else who mentioned. They mentioned golf lessons.
Your shoulder rubbed out. Just please next time, don't just leave that whole sentence alone, please.
No,
just say I'm going to get a massage. You can leave the rubbed out part, please. Please,
especially in this climate.
Yeah, man.
I've been following the news the last 5 years.
As I said, I'm an open book, and there is one part of my body that is hurting more than anything else, and that is my shoulder. I think I threw my shoulder out like 2 years ago.
How open of a book would you be if it was a different body part, though? I'm going to say.
I would not be.
That's not an embarrassing part. That's not an embarrassing part to admit is the most painful one, you know?
Yeah, but nothing else is painful right now. It's my shoulder.
Just say I'm going to have him work on my shoulder. Just please refrain.
I'm having to work on my shoulder.
Please refrain from saying rubbed out. Please.
Whatever.
Just in general.
Yeah.
Just as a general rule of thumb.
You know what? If you believe me for what I say, then it's not as big of a deal. Drew needs work on his shoulder. Yeah. I hope your shoulder feels better when you're done.
Yeah. I do hope that your shoulder feels better after getting
I
your
guess I can
massage
phrase it better,
vacation.
but goodness.
Sometimes you just don't hear it, you know? All I know is that the text line is very varied on we are all paying
too much for haircuts, they're saying.
Are you okay? So follow-up question. Are you happy with the haircut you're getting? Because I think we all
I'm very happy with my haircuts.
There are certain things that I have come to discover that I am willing to pay the higher price for, like paint, like small things, right? A haircut is one of those things that I used to try to be like, I want to get in and out of here for like $25 if I can, including tip. And I was getting enough bad haircuts that no longer felt like it was worth the cost. And I'd rather just spend more to get a quality haircut.
Drew told us earlier, he's like, he doesn't care how much the haircut is because he really shouldn't be here anyway. We learned that yesterday. So who cares what the haircut costs?
You can't hurt him.
He shouldn't be here anyway, as he told us yesterday, the whole story.
Man, that was crazy. That was a whole different thing.
There's a greater chance that it does result in some pleasure.
Does this show talk more about death than all the other shows?
Probably.
Probably so.
Feels like we almost have to at this point. I mean, I'd be kind of surprised if we didn't.
I think there's a lot that we talk about more than the other ones.
Yeah.
I probably will not wear pants.
Somebody earlier on the text line claimed that the morning show is once again calling me mean nicknames.
Yeah, I saw that too.
What's the story behind that?
I don't know. They just typed it in.
too.
I didn't see it. The morning show certainly hasn't said that to my face. So, you know.
Are you saying you have beef with the morning show?
Hey.
If they actually called me
You
that,
have beef with
maybe.
everybody, Cody, at this rate.
My beef, it went away. Like, Carrington and I don't have beef currently.
Oh, okay, you squashed it. Nice.
Well, I mean, he hasn't retaliated since I made all those P. Diddy comments, so we seem to have squashed it. I felt like it was even after that. If he retaliates, then the beef might be back on, but at the moment, we're good. Morning show, our beef seemed to have quieted down as well, but the text line earlier was claiming...
What's the nickname?
I'm not saying it.
What do you mean you won't say it? It's not that bad.
No, I agree.
I don't know what
It shall be nameless.
Really?
It's not. It's
very disrespectful.
It is disrespectful.
No, I don't see. I might even
You
play.
didn't see
I
that?
honestly don't know what. I truly don't
I will tell you
know.
on the break.
Okay.
I found it to be a disrespectful nickname if that's what they're actually calling me.
You should come.
You got to go find the
tomorrow.
audio, Drew. You got to go find the audio of this.
You should come into work tomorrow and don't even say anything to Dusty. Don't say anything
Cold
to
shoulder?
Fesco. Don't say anything
What
to Mac.
if they didn't actually say it and somebody was just starting stuff on the text line?
I still think it'd be funny for you to come in with that energy.
People are
of,
texting in what they've called you. I see.
I still think you come in with that energy of
interesting.
Immediately someone
don't you
texted in.
disrespect me like that ever again. That's what you need to say tomorrow.
I don't even know what I did to deserve it.
I don't think you did anything. They're just being bullies.
They're just calling me to.
Yeah, they're just being.
I think you should just storm in on their show tomorrow and say you got something to say.
Yeah.
Just make it awkward for them.
I'll tell you this right now: the Cody Tap IT camera services stopped, Mac. You're gonna call me that? Don't you be hitting me up at 7:05 with technical issues. We'll make sure that this thing works at 10. The IT service is closed until we get some reference for why I am being called nicknames on the morning show.
Oh,
you know. But Carrington and I, our current beef is squashed. You know.
Good for you guys. I'm happy for you.
At the
Someone
moment,
says he definitely said it. It was Fesco.
Man, they were actually claiming it was the
Can
other.
I say
two.
the text?
They were actually claiming it was the other. Two.
Can I say that? They've been saying it on air, so I guess I can say it on air.
I mean, I guess we.
Hang on.
They were calling them that, so obviously I can say it
though. Did they say
I
it?
don't know.
That's the. I think
that's where I want to hold off.
Okay.
It's only 2 people so far that I've now seen say that they said.
When did they say it? Because I
don't know.
I'll go research.
All right.
Because for all we know, they just texted somebody about it.
Oh my God, people are now. I won't say them all on air because people are talking about some really clever retaliations we can do, and there's a couple of them that are just incredible.
All right, up next.
Incredible.
We'll get to the 1 o'clock hour. We'll talk more about what the Royals rotation could look like beyond 2025. And we bring back the Snitch line, 913-586-7965 here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold.
You will not decorate my balls, period. I will decorate my balls.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
Hi, this is Megan, your friend and jeweler from Shane Company. Did you know not all warranties are created equal? At Shane Company, our free lifetime warranty is all-inclusive and even protects the diamond in your engagement ring. We can offer such an incredible warranty because our rings are crafted to last a lifetime. As your friend and jeweler, our gift to you is peace of mind. At Shane Company, we also cover unlimited repairs, resizings, and cleanings for free for life, saving you thousands over time. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Are you in need of top quality metal for your next project? Look no further than Metal by the Foot. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. The Foot. Blue Demon Welding Supplies, filler rods, and wire. The Foot. Bronius Professional Welding Equipment, service and repairs. The Foot. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
The Nissan 4th of July sale is on at Reiselman Nissan, and 0% financing is back. That's right, 0% APR for 5 full years on Rogues, Muranos, and Pathfinders. Or choose 1.9% for 72 months, even 84 months at just 3.49% APR. Traded your last car at 7% interest? Trade up and lower your payments today. Plus, get up to $6,000 in total rebates on the rugged Frontier. Nobody in Kansas City beats our deals or selection. Visit Reiselman.com for details. Reiselman Nissan. Every customer, every time.
FanDuel, because nothing says summer fun quite like adding excitement to the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. Summer sports are calling your name. That means baseball under the stadium lights, golf on pristine green fairways, soccer matches between world-class goals, and all the action-packed moments that happen in between. You're going to spend all day following your favorite sports on your phone anyway, so you might as well make them more thrilling, more exciting with FanDuel. Open up the app today to see the daily promotions. New customers can bet just $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use my promo code to get everything started. FanDuel is an official partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issues. Now will draw a bonus bet which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement Kansas Casino LLC. Gambling problem. Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit KSGamblingHelp.com.
Tiger, Dragon, do you have what it takes to win? Be fierce like the tiger, strong like the dragon. Only the brave will survive.
Yeah, that's not how these games work. With Tiger and Dragon from the Kansas Lottery, you can win up to $125,000 or $100K in a second chance drawing.
You are weak.
Ouch. It's not a video game. It's better. Play Tiger and Dragon instant games from the Kansas Lottery.
Let's play.
Yeah, that works. See kslottery.com for details.
A recent homeowner in Kansas City was trying to sell their home, and that's when they discovered Dawn Sharp. Dawn didn't just list their home, she became their trusted guide through every decision. And the Sharp Homes team can give you options as well. If you want to skip the showings and open houses and go straight to sold, then contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. Ask them about their instant offer program. You can Google them at Sharp Homes Team or just pay them a visit at homesforsaleandkc.com.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth. Why not start today?
Gear up, race fans. Sioux Cup IndyCar Race Weekend is roaring into Iowa Speedway July 11th to the 13th, featuring the only NTT IndyCar Series doubleheader weekend on the 2025 schedule. Sioux Cup IndyCar Race Weekend has become one of the most anticipated and action-packed events in racing. Tickets are going fast. Score yours today and get ready to feel the rush at the fastest short track on the planet. Visit IndyCar@Iowa.com for tickets. Sioux Cup IndyCar Race Weekend at Iowa Speedway, the ultimate summer racing event.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. We've got a huge variety of metals in stock, and we cut to size fast. Bottom line, we get it done fast, so you get it done fast. Doesn't get easier than that. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Find a store or buy online at metalsupermarkets.com.
If Old Spice Deep Sea Super Hydration Body Wash were music, what would it sound like? Start with the deep sounds of Old Spice's ocean waves and kelp. Layer on the smooth, renewing moisture. You wouldn't hear any parabens or phthalates because Old Spice Deep Sea hasn't got any. But you would hear that vitamin B3 for healthier looking skin. So while your regular body wash sounds like this, Old Spice sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
College days are back on the drive. Listen for MIZ Day on Wednesday, July 16th, starting at 2 o'clock on 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp with you. Drew Nixon producing the show. Text line open as always, 913-586-7965. From the 816, I drive for Amazon. It's Prime Week. You guys are helping me get through it. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. That is probably a crazy, crazy week. Prime week going on. Actually, you know what's funny? This time, normally I have not ordered anything during this current Prime week. Normally I'll do Prime Day or whatever. I actually haven't bought anything off of Prime during the current stretch.
Oh, so you're also against his wedding in Italy? Is that what? Is this a personal?
Oh, is his wedding going on right now?
No, it already happened. It was like a whole big national.
No,
story.
I spent plenty of money on Amazon, but I did not buy any specific Amazon Prime related. Like I had 3 things delivered last week, but not this week during
nothing specific for it.
No,
this I got to switch to for me.
What's the last thing you ordered on your Amazon?
It was stuff before I left for Texas, like a couple of car related, making road trip stuff.
Because it's still Prime Day is still tomorrow. I guess it could change.
Yeah, it's like 3 days. It's not even days.
Let's see. Last
Prime
thing I
days.
ordered. Let me pull it up here.
I'm going to look now.
Oh, well, that's iPad case. I just got the new iPad, so that makes sense.
Did you order the iPad on there as well?
No, I got that through cell phone provider. But yeah, the last thing I ordered was the iPad case and then some bubble mailers I need so I can ship out cards that I've been selling.
I bet
on eBay.
you guys cannot guess the last thing that I ordered.
Was it for you?
No.
Oh, well, then this can be really tough. It was not for you.
Was it for your
spouse?
Yes.
Was it a hair-related product?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, look, you're really getting somewhere. If this is 20 questions, you're in great shape.
Hair-related product. I mean, just start with shampoo and conditioner. We'll start there.
No, it was not those.
Brush?
Think post. No, not a brush.
Post? No. Curling iron.
Post shower. No. This is like getting ready type of stuff. Yeah, it's not involving
brush?
shower. Nope.
Leave-in conditioner?
No.
Oh, I got nothing.
I don't know. What is it? Now I just got to know.
It is Kiss Colors and Care Maximum Hold Edge Fixer.
Oh. Okay.
Styling hair gel.
Perfect.
Nice.
She had to get her edges did. You know what I'm saying? She had to get her edges did. Yes.
Drew, I don't know how to break this to you. Unfortunately for me, I do not know a lot about black hair care. So, like, when you were going
that's why I said you guys
when
wouldn't.
you were going to make me guess hair care products.
No, that's why
that was going to be limited for me in the guessing
I
department.
know that. That's why I was like, you guys won't be
I
able
like
to
to be
guess it.
cultured, but, like, there's just a limit. Like, as my hair is, whatever the hair types. Mine is 1A. Maybe 1. Maybe I get B because there's a little wave. Or 2, but it's 1.
Someone guessed sound canceling headphones because the upstairs neighbors. No, I did not get. I already have some of those.
But shout out to the whether you're driving for Amazon, FedEx, UPS, you name it. Shout out to you guys deal with the heat and everything like that.
Sure.
Delivering packages for us, for the people.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe it's gel. Maybe it's sports cards.
You never know, right? Could be.
Someone says no sports cards on Prime Day, Gold. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Can you order like a good box on there, or is it? Or do you
not the bad like not
it's
the
not where you go
not the high
normally
end
to.
hobby stuff usually as much.
I gotcha.
There's plenty of other places, or just shop local. Go to your local card store. But yeah, I order from Amazon, not for card. The only card stuff I order on Amazon is the supply stuff. So like I'll buy top loaders and bubble mailers and stuff from there. But text line, jeez,
I am text line. Technically,
not in his heart. That's what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
when he said technically,
the fact that you said it that way is actually hilarious. That's so funny.
That's what he was pointing out. We'll get to a snitch line in 10 minutes. That should be good today. 913-586-7965. You can start getting those in now. I saw some people already snitching. I've got a work-related snitch that took place yesterday.
Oh.
I will not name the person.
On.
But there was something that took place.
I know what this one
and
is.
it needs to be discussed.
Drew, it's an all-timer.
Is it? I don't know.
It's an all-timer, and it's something I've known about for years. Cody just experienced it for the first time, I guess, yesterday.
Oh,
it's something.
All right.
Yeah.
So
No names.
Just activity.
By the way, it's none of us three, and it's nobody that is on air at 96.5 The Fan. But no names.
But it is somebody who works in this building.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
let's talk about the Royals and their rotation because Chris Bubich was doing his thing last night. Perfectly nice start. Gets through it again. He's been the best starter for the Royals all year long. Him and Seth Lugo have really held down the fort, especially in the absence of Cole Reagans because of the injury. And I was just trying to figure out like how Bubich fits in because my fear is if you don't lock up Chris Bubich, as in find a way to get a contract that makes sense in front of him to extend his time in Kansas City by a couple of years, then because you got another year after this one, because you then run into an issue of what is your rotation next year? What is your rotation the year after that? Are you positioned? Because I'll be honest, as it sits right now, I'm not like psyched about the upcoming pitchers currently at the higher levels of there. Because if I said, hey, what's their plan after Salvador Perez? At least I can look at Carter Jensen hitting 290 with 70 or Blake Mitchell or some of the other guys. But at starting pitching, they wouldn't be signing Dallas Keuchel and Rich Hill to AAA contracts if they like some of the depth they had at the upper levels. I kind of feel like Chris Bubich needs an extension to protect yourself in the long haul, not knowing the answers on the other guys because you only got a couple of years on a few of them.
right. I mean, Waka and Cole Reagans are in the rotation next year. Chris Bubich isn't, even if they don't extend him, right? He's got another year left. I agree with you that you have to make that decision this offseason. Are you extending him? or are you trading him for multiple pieces? Because I don't think you go into opening day next year with him on his final year of his contract unless you think you're going to flip him at the deadline next year. But number-wise, I mean, Kyle Wright and these guys like Alec Marsh, sure, they could factor in the rotation next year, but can you count on that? I feel like they're in a position where they're going to have to sign another veteran pitcher. You know, and hope they can find another Seth Lugo, which is maybe not possible because he's been that damn good. But somebody that, you know, is a little bit older, that you're buying on the upside, and I will still give them credit on this. Their big league scouting when it comes to trades and acquisitions has actually been very good here over the last couple of years. They've obviously made some mistakes in terms of not going out and finding outfield help this past offseason. But whether it was looking at an asset like Cole Reagans and finding him in the Rangers organization, you know, going out and obviously getting Urseg. Those are the two most notable ones that have stood out and been successful. Free agent signings of Lugo and Waka and Estevez have been very successful for them. So I think they will probably have to look at a veteran route in the offseason as well as a starting pitcher. But your number one next year, I know he's got the injuries. Your number one next year, it's still going to probably be Cole Reagans. I mean, that's just where this is setting up.
Reagans, Waka, Bubic, if you don't trade him at any point in the offseason, and that's up too, and Cameron. So, like, next year, you're in an okay shape, but that kind of relies on Bubic, because the thing with Bubic is, I think he's on the Royals no matter what this year. That's not even a question. The reality is if he's got 1 year left on his deal.
Wait, hold on. You just said, it's interesting with something you just said. You think without a question Bubic is in the rotation next year. So you don't think.
Or this year. Sorry,
okay.
This year.
I was going to say, I didn't know if you were thinking that. Okay.
I think for the rest of this year,
Gotcha.
He's in the rotation. The question is, if you got a guy like that and he's only got 1 year left on his deal and you're not going to pay him money, normally that would be a winter meeting trade. That would be just what you did with Brady Singer. And you would let somebody else pay him, and you deal with all the backlash of that. And look, that hasn't backfired tremendously. Singer's been fine in Cincinnati. I haven't checked in a while. And over the last month or two, Jonathan is looking more like the league average player that you were trading for, and you traded a league average starter. So you'd have to get more in return for Chris Bubic. Brady Singer, by the way, has got a 7-7 record with a 4.32 ERA. He's been perfectly average, or a little below. But so when you look at that, they're stuck in a spot where I do think they have to make a long-term decision on someone this year. Can't be guaranteed Lugo's back. Reagans, you now have to wonder about the injury stuff a little bit because of the Tommy Johns, and now he's missed a good chunk of this season. Do you have to have a constant backup option for him? Walker's getting older and has only got a little bit of time left in his deal, although he'll be back. And Noah Cameron, you got all the control in the world. You want Noah Cameron in your rotation? Congratulations, he's there, no problems. But you have missing parts. And so I feel like if your long-term plan with Bubic, he's still cheaper now than he is 5 months from now, a year from now, whenever that time is.
I agree with that.
He's still cheaper now.
You know, again, where do you think he likely is? Is he at number 3 starter for the duration of that contract extension? So what's the dollar amount you're willing to spend for a number 3 starter? Because Chris Bubic this year, he's pitching like more than a number 3 starter. Obviously, he's pitching like an ace because he's an all-star. But I don't think anybody expects him to pitch at this level for another 3 years. But he doesn't have to. He can pitch 15% worse, and he's still a very, very good number 3 starter for you moving forward. But the numbers game gets tricky because, it's not like there's a top 10 prospect in the organization or a top 51 in baseball in your organization right now that you feel like is going to be part of the spring training mix next year. That doesn't exist. It just doesn't. And now that can change with moves, but most likely we all agree if they're going to acquire anybody in a trade, it's probably going to be hitting, not pitching. The draft is on Sunday. Whoever they draft is probably not factoring in for a while. If they draft a pitcher high, I have no idea, by the way, who the hell they're drafting at pick 20-something, but none of us know, okay? I think there was some mock drafts, but I'm not getting into baseball mock drafts. Once they get drafted.
Play the sounder.
I think I'm curious if Holiday goes number 1 or not. And from a nerdy sports card perspective, I'll be keeping an eye on the top prospects because there'll be the big chases for the cards in the next product or whatever. But from a truly help, who knows? I mean, whoever they draft, if it's a high school kid, we're talking about 3+ years from now. If it's a college kid, maybe it's a year or two. I don't know.
MLB. Here's the
latest
latest mock
draft. Go ahead.
At 23, looks like a pitcher. Hold on, I got to scroll down to find his name. At pick 23, the Kansas City Royals select Cruz, Kruz, Schoolcraft. Man, that is a name.
Cruz Schoolcraft is a hell of a name.
That is a name.
Where is he out of?
Left-handed pitcher out of high school.
Okay, so you're years and years down the road.
People think that there's going to be a
6'8"? Oh, he's 6'8". That's okay. All right.
People are thinking
All
the
right.
Royals. I did see rumor that they're thinking the Royals are going to end up. There's going to be a heavy college influence in the first 15 to 20 picks.
It's not
most
a
people
great
think.
draft, supposedly.
So they do think that there's a pretty good chance that a high schooler,
6'8", 18-year-old pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued. The 6'8" pitcher coming out of high school.
That's the guy. Cruz Schoolcraft.
All right.
Out of Sunset, Oregon.
Up to 97 with his fastball. Knock on him right now is lack of spin. He's 18. All right, whatever.
Are you kidding me? That's what the knocks when they're 18 years old? Is he supposed to have figured out all of his spin rate by now?
At the plate, he has a chance to be an above-average hitter with better than average power in the future.
Wait, now they're taking another two-way player?
Hey,
It just,
hang on.
I think he would be as a pitcher, but I guess he's hit. It's high school, so he's hit, obviously, as well. High school kid.
What is he projecting to be? You know,
The
Caglianone pitch, but everybody
The
knew he was
scouting
gonna be a hit.
report from MLB Pipeline says the bat could be draft ball on its own, but it's pretty clear Schoolcraft is being considered in the first round because of his arm and towering presence on the mound.
I'll be honest. I wonder if. Do you think that the Chiefs, the Royals, would be more likely to two-way him than Cags
No.
because they know Cags is such a big hitter, they want him to focus on that. Where his main thing is pitching, but he could hit eighth.
No.
In the
You
lineup.
don't let someone play
And it's
two-way
just
if they're
It's just
an
not
A-hitter.
especially in
You know?
high school. The fact that you hit in high school doesn't mean anything to me.
Sure. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure,
Like
sure, of course.
it was better chance if you hit well in college and you pitch, and I'd say okay, there's a chance. I mean, most of these guys hit in their high school team.
Someone says Schoolcraft won't give up his Tennessee commitment for a slot bonus. But the Royals have a large slot pool. So
He's a first rounder. You're telling me he's not going? He's going to college and he's a first round pick. That's wild.
that happens every once in a while.
And I
First
don't
round,
man.
they're saying you're going to have to pay above slot, but the
Well,
Royals
that's
have
fine.
money to pay
Well, then
above
do it.
slots.
You know what? Make it happen. You know.
How much money do
This is
first
the kid I'm
round
hoping
picks
for
and-
officially.
Well, the name's
I know
great.
nothing else, and I want Cruz Schoolcraft
And
to
the
be
fact,
a future Royal.
the fact that he's 6'8", like that. I'm not saying that's the end all be all, but like that's also makes it a very intriguing prospect. A 6'8" left-handed pitcher.
How much money do first round picks get in baseball? Like what exactly is the
What's
like
the
how
slot
exactly does
value
that
at
work?
pick? What pick are they? 28. You said or
23.
23. Slot value pick 23 MLB draft.
Then we got to get to the snitch line.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
let's
yeah.
take a look.
3.6 million last year is what it
might be
was.
able to-
Last year, at least. It's probably up this year, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It appears the Royal slot. Oh, it's quite a bit.
But the
Oh, no,
Royals
that's
bonus pick value pool, you get into that a little bit, and that's a little bit different. The Royals have
3.85 million is the current slot number for the Royals.
bonus pool 12.7.
Yeah, they got
million.
That's more money than he's getting in
The
NIL.
Orioles have the most. They're picking first or whatever. But
That's how it works.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Royals at 3.8 is what that pick would cost at slot. They've paid above slot a bunch of times, especially for high school kids that they like. So not crazy. Let's get to a snitch line.
913-586-7965. Snitch line. Anything that's on your mind that you've witnessed, that you've done, that you just need to let out there. Something that you need to snitch on. It
can be
It's that
anonymous.
simple. It is anonymous. It absolutely is anonymous.
We don't normally say the names if you send in someone's name. Because
Mhm.
earlier in the text line, somebody was like, they said they caught a serial poop smearer in high school. A person who was being busted and doing it in the men's and the women's
Why don't
restrooms.
you kick us off with a snitch?
Okay,
This
it
happened,
is bathroom related.
This happened in the office yesterday, and then I told you this has happened for years in this
I
building.
didn't know this.
All right, go ahead.
Snitch on the workplace for me. I went to just quickly use the restroom yesterday, and there's an individual who was having a full speakerphone conversation while sitting on the toilet with somebody else. When I went in to use the restroom, and they then heard me flush the urinal, I heard him say, "Hey, hold on a second. I'm using the bathroom. Let me put you on mute for a second so you don't say something you should." That should not be your concern. Your concern should be that someone can hear you sitting
Yeah.
on the toilet.
No,
Crazy.
This individual has done it
You
for,
said this
for
about
many,
for
many
years?
years.
Well, you know,
many
they're
years.
comfortable in the bathroom, I guess.
Very
What?
comfortable. Too comfortable, some would say. I mean, to have the confidence to be sitting there on the john and speakerphone, casual conversation. The fact that you would want anybody to hear your conversation on top of what you're doing in the moment is wild.
The fact that that person said, "Hang on, I'm on the toilet. Give me a second."
How did that person not be like, "I want to be off the phone now"?
Yeah.
Might have been a spouse.
Oh. I didn't catch enough of that.
Fair point, but still,
I didn't catch enough of that. That is
that's crazy.
Man, I couldn't believe it. From the 913, started at a new company this week. Coworker said, "We don't eat lunch here. Just don't tell HR." When I told him I was ready to go get lunch, he was trying to tell him, like, we don't take lunch breaks. He's trying to get this guy to not take lunch breaks.
Jeez.
So they don't eat.
Dang.
No, they obviously eat. That's what he said, don't tell HR. That person's saying, work through your lunch. Man, that's tough. I would immediately want a new job. That's the problem. You just started a new job, and I feel like I'd already be looking. If that's the mindset on day one is, we don't take a lunch break here. No, when he's saying don't tell HR, I think that's on purpose. I think they're trying to get in trouble.
I'm not going to read the full detail. I'll just leave it at this. Someone says they were in Wichita for work Tuesday night. Went to the restroom at dinner. There was somebody in the stall and their feet were in the wrong direction.
Ooh.
I'm not going to read the rest of the text.
Okay. From the 913, self-snitch, found out my sneaky link, as they put it, is married. She's been there for 3 years. Her husband's locked up. He gets out next year. Well, I'll just tell you right now, I get out of it before next year.
Yeah.
If you just found out she's married and you don't want to be with a married person, end it now.
Well, for starters, yes, that point. Then you get into the prison part of it. What is her husband in prison for? I need to know that part of the equation here, too.
Maybe they don't know.
Because if it's tax evasion, you're not as worried. But if it's...
if it's something a little more violent, I might be a little concerned.
It might be like, definitely don't
but you
mention
should,
me
you
at
should,
all. Delete me from
you
your
should
phone.
Cut it off now that you know that she's married anyway. But
someone snitching on somebody who could be listening to the show, actually.
Okay.
For the 913, I'm snitching on a coworker who I saw chugging 2 to 3 beers in his truck yesterday as he was leaving. 90% sure he listens to the show.
Well, he's part of the 9%.
Yeah, he is.
We had a survey earlier in the show from The Ohio State University that said among those in their 30s, 9% of workers use alcohol or drugs on the job. So he's part of the 9%.
He was leaving, I guess, but still, I mean, obviously, you're chugging 2 to 3.
From the 316,
yeah.
I sometimes put 2 or more packs of lunch meat and cheese in a plastic produce bag and just scan the cheese.
So you get the meat for free.
Bad. Uh-huh.
Cody, you've done this a few times. Yeah.
No, I just said if something doesn't scan.
So what? You get a pound? So what? You got?
I think I'm scanning everything. I'm saying occasionally I find out I missed a scan and I just live my life. I'm not gonna I better really triple check. That's not on me. I'm not.
So this person basically you got a half pound of turkey, and you threw some cheese in there, and you only charge yourself for the cheese.
Did you see the follow-up text?
No.
To the.
I don't know what he's in prison for. I didn't ask. Finished what I was doing and left. I've gotten with her 2 more times since I found out. You're messing with fire, my man.
Dude, I'll tell you right now.
Yikes.
I would get on a State Department website and I'd find out before you're just like, it's probably fine. You sure it's probably fine?
I wouldn't even worry about it. You just be done.
Are you saying? Oh, I thought you were saying it's too late anyway. Okay.
I'm just saying, just be done. Shouldn't have been doing it anyways, but
this
just
is one
be
of
done.
the darkest ones we've ever gotten from the 816. I stole my ex-girlfriend's dead grandfather's coin collection. Claimed they sold it and bought Crown Club seats to the Royals. I hope that's not true, because that is bleak.
They said they didn't even go to the game. Something came up. Oh my goodness.
Man, that is cold.
Oh.
That is cold.
Well,
dang.
I mean, how long ago was she well, I guess it couldn't have been that. You stole
Were they close?
Yeah. So you were eyeing the coin collection for a while.
Gold, I don't think you would do this to your parents in terms of having them watch your dog or anything, but this person said they told their mom she had to watch the kids for the weekend because I have to work. In actuality, I'm going to Destin for a weekend getaway.
Oh, I would just tell my parents I'm going to Destin.
I would just,
beautiful city, by the way.
I agree. I agree.
I've never been.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Destin is great.
You should go.
This goes back to our conversation about where I want to live. I'm sure Destin's fine.
Destin's beautiful. Beautiful. 913-586-7965.
Hang on. It is Florida, though. So I don't know, but based on our previous conversations, if you want to go down there.
This one's different.
This one's simple. It just says, my other sales rep sucks. His name is Anthony. LOL. Any Anthony out there just got triggered. You're on notice.
What the hell? I didn't do anything.
Every Anthony out there thinks it's them right now. Salesperson Anthony, they might be talking about you.
People that could be.
I know. That's what's great about that one.
Pick it up, you know?
The follow-up on the grandfather coin collection, the guy said they were not close at all, but they were in her basement for years, so I stole them and got the Crown Club tickets.
Dang. Were you next at the time or stole them while you were still together? I got a lot of followers.
Well, I'm guessing they were together. How else would she be in the basement if they were?
That's a good point. That's a fair point.
Unless he broke in.
He saw those coins and wanted to go back.
Someone else said they're part of the 9%. They smoke weed in the parking lot of their job before on break and on the ride home.
And hang on.
On the ride home feels like maybe don't do that.
Correct. In fairness.
I don't crack a beer on the ride home. You can have one when you're home.
Does the on your break, like if you go out, and you smoke cigarettes, you go out and you smoke a cigarette, is that considered on the job? If you do it during a break, like because this person
smoke a cig or smoke a joint.
Well, either
depends on their drug policy.
Either in terms of the on break, like
everyone
does
allows
that
people to
count?
smoke at work at this point. I just think if you want to be anti-establishment, just take the same 10-minute break they're taking, but don't smoke.
As long as you're not getting it's fine. As long as you're not gone by the time you get back into work, is on break considered on the job? I would assume yes.
And lastly, we end the Snitch line on a throwback from the original Snitch line. For those who've been with us since 2021,
probably.
I wonder if Rob is still messing around with that employee at the auto shop.
Huh?
That's a throwback, Drew.
Dude,
That's
it was
throwback.
one of the very first. We got updates on it pretty regularly. It was one of the very first snitches on this show ever.
Mm-hmm.
No idea. I haven't heard in a while.
That is that. Wow. I hope Rob's doing good. I hope Rob and everything's going good over at the auto shop. Up next, we'll get to what's trending, and then we'll talk more about somebody that got passed over not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Watch Cody and Gold on YouTube by subscribing to the 96.5 YouTube channel. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Go Yard all baseball season long with Underdog's Champions Game. Obviously playing good baseball in Kansas City right now, and Underdog is one of the leading places to make all your sports selections that you can play in your state. That's right, from the Missouri side at the K tonight if you want. Join the millions of fans, tomorrow. Join the millions of fans who have already won billions making plays at Underdogs. Why not be next? To join, just download the app, choose which player will go higher or lower than their stats. So home runs, strikeouts, total bases, RBI, and more. And you can mix and match sports. And you can play with as little as $1 and win up to 1,000 times your money with your baseball knowledge. Download the Underdog app and sign up with promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to unlock a special offer for up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See UnderdogFantasy.com/web/deposit-match-terms. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncbgambling.org.
Men, the summer is here. Longer days, warmer nights, and romance in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated. Because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life, and fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
The Other Place, Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park, Mission, and Belton. Come hang out on the patio and listen to some great live music at most locations Thursday through Saturdays. Enjoy some great food and also some incredible beer specials. Make The Other Place your summer headquarters. The Other Place and theotherplace.com.
If you're looking for that new career path, have you thought about IT? Think about IT. It's needed in every single industry, whether it's sports, healthcare, construction, manufacturing, you name it, and Centric can help you get there.
No better time in the city either. The KC Tech Council reported that there were 3,000 jobs added in IT in March alone. 3,000.
We've told you about our friend Russ Mondry and his expertise in this field. Over 16 years at Centric. He's going to help you find that career path. So go to Centric.com.
Headed out for a summer getaway? Make your airport parking a breeze with Casey's favorite, Park and Go. All spots are covered, so your car stays cool and protected while you're soaking up the sun. Hop on a quick air-conditioned shuttle that picks you up right at your car and drops you off at the terminal. Always the best service, always the best price. Reserve now at bookparkandgo.com. Open 24/7. Fast, easy, and stress-free. Park and Go, family owned and operated, and proud to be part of your summer travel plans.
Now, your Live Nation lineup.
Don't miss these upcoming shows. Get tickets and info at livenation.com. Hardy, Thursday, August 14th at T-Mobile Center. Heart, Thursday, August 21st at T-Mobile Center. Goo Goo Dolls, Friday, August 22nd at Starlight. And Alabama Shakes, Sunday, August 24th at Starlight.
For tickets and info, hit up livenation.com.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out. Going down in a rinse straight. Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2025 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 7/20/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
Hey, thanks, man. Oh, no, wait, my phone! Come back! It's got my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life! Come back!
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
What's trending here on Cody and Gold is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. The Royals are off today, and then the Mets come to town this weekend. Royals coming off a sweep of the Pirates. They're 3 out of a playoff spot, 2 games under 500. Yesterday, of course, Salvador Perez had another multi-home run game. I think that's his 19th in his Royals career, his big league career. Jack Caglianone had that 466-foot missile to center field.
It was hit pretty hard. Pretty hard, it turns out. Jack Caglianone can hit the ball very, 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 very far, which is, of course, what we've been looking for since he got called up to the bigs. Mm-hmm. Next up on What's Trending, Major League Baseball announced yet another home run derby participant. That's A's Brent Rooker, as in former Kansas City Royal Brent Rooker. I saw J.J. Piccolo have some comments the other day saying he understood that the 2 starting DHs
are former Royals.
The 2 starting DHs are Ryan O'Hearn and Brent Rooker. So, I mean, it's like 2 guys who were in the Royals organization has obviously had quite a bit more success. Now, again, Rooker's a little bit different because he was here for like a cup
He played
of
like
coffee.
10 games.
So, like, maybe they gave up on him too soon, but they didn't know what they were getting out of him. Ryan O'Hearn, they gave him plenty of chances to be a player here, too. That's what always kind of makes
him. He's turned his career around. He's playing in a ballpark that I think fits him perfectly. But yeah, it's the optics never look good when you see that. But I also would argue plenty of organization. Let's say you were a Nationals fan. Let's say you were a Mets fan, whoever. I'm sure there's somebody else on another team doing well, and you're probably as a fan base there saying, what the hell? How come it didn't work out here?
And still an open spot. So Jack Caglianone, I'd be fun.
The only Royals player that actually would make sense for that would be Vinny.
Personality, fun.
Personality, and he's also got the numbers and everything. And we looked it up after we had the conversation the other day. Since 2013, you don't have to be an all-star to be in the home run derby.
So he doesn't have any ties to the area. Sometimes they try to do that, but
my guess is also some of it is how your team is performing too. I just even if your decision to accept it or not.
Yeah. I would hope that I imagine Vinny would go if he got invited, but who the hell knows? One player left to go for the home run derby next week.
Kevin Harlan has signed a contract to call NBA games for Amazon Prime Video. Remember, the NBA is shifting over to Amazon and NBC this year. So starting this fall, you'll hear Kevin Harlan over on Amazon Prime. So you're getting more bang for your buck out of that Prime membership. You get Thursday Night Football. Now you're going to get some NBA action this year.
That whole lineup is
I feel
really good,
I feel like the Prime membership worth more.
Amazon hasn't cheaped out on the trying to get the broadcast partner. They've tried hard on getting good broadcast.
Have you guys heard Eric Collins do play-by-play at all?
No.
I'm not familiar with his work.
Okay. I will find something for you and play it here when I can find it. Because if there's a broadcaster that brings you energy, it could be Gus Johnson, reckless energy. Eric Collins is. And ironically, Del Curry's the guy that he does Hornets game was with. Del is a analyst now with Amazon.
Oh, nice.
So I wonder if they're bringing that partnership there. But anyways, I'll find something and then I'll let you know when I have it because he goes nuts.
Next up on What's Trending, news in the local media landscape.
Gossip.
Yesterday, you might have seen that our guy, Nate Taylor, had announced that he was leaving The Athletic after a number of successful years there in his Chiefs coverage. Well, it's been announced today he's staying in KC. He's just going to ESPN. Nate Taylor is heading over to ESPN to head up their coverage as the beat writer there instead. So you won't lose Nate on this station, won't lose Nate's excellent Chiefs coverage. You just catch it on a different platform. Nate Taylor heading to ESPN.
Yeah, congratulations to him.
Yeah, seriously. Great guy.
Obviously,
really
we're thrilled.
happy for him.
We're happy for him. We're thrilled that he gets to still go on this show and the station and gets to keep covering the Chiefs here in Kansas City. That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Yeah, people are texting in other examples of players that left. Like the White Sox obviously moved on from Tatis. The Padres moved on from James Wood. I don't know, they moved on. He was part of a trade, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little different. Tatis was a part of a trade,
saying that you were trying to acquire a major asset.
They gave away Rooker and O'Hearn for nothing. They just DFA'd him.
All right, so who's this guy that you said we're going to like?
So Eric Collins does some college football for Fox now as well, but he's the Hornets play-by-play guy. And to give you a sense of the energy that he brings, here is a call from him. This is back when Kemba played.
Getting ready for the final shot of the third quarter. It's Kemba fires it and makes it.
First off, kudos to him for making a Hornets game sound exciting because can't tell you how often that's actually true. Whoop-de-doo. I've never heard that in a call.
He yells and screams, and it's intense.
Hey, be entertaining, man. Be entertaining, especially if you're on a team, you're broadcasting for a team that stinks most of the time.
He is outstanding. I hope he brings the same level
I would
of
wonder,
energy to...
It's good in highlight form. I guess I would want to listen to, if I was a Hornets fan, after 20 games of it, am I sick of it, though?
It's not after every call.
It's
not
30 and...
I don't think it's exhausting.
Okay, because I'm like, if that's every moment, then it is a little much.
I will say there's times where, and I get NBA League Pass, I'll go to a Hornets game. It might be the worst game on the planet. It might be Kings and Hornets, but I go to listen to. I go to listen to Eric Collins just to see if he'll go nuts after a crazy play or something.
It's not even about this. To me, is not even about the person or anything against. But there is a problem where if he's doing that. And this team is 15-43. I'm like, shut up, Eric. Where you're listening, even when they're your guy, I'm like, what the hell are you excited for? Yeah. This team stinks. It is the ultimate positives. The people who, and I credit them for this. I wish I was more like this. They're just optimistic and happy and cheerful and excited at every moment. Boy, do you just dislike them in the moments in which it's really bleak. When it's bad, you just don't feel like hearing it.
Yeah.
What was the Hornets record last year?
Not great. They had a bunch of injury issues, so it didn't help. But LaMelo was out for half the season-ish.
Okay.
They're probably 30 and 52 is my guess. I might be wrong, but that actually might
That's
be
somehow better than I thought. I thought you were going to say like. Really
Let me see. They were
19 and 63.
Okay, they
like
sucked.
just imagine
injury issues though. I think played a part in that.
Imagine
Anyways.
game 71. And he's like 3. You're like, I don't care, Eric. Yeah. I've heard enough.
Someone says you're hating.
I just said it's hard.
I think it definitely could get old quick.
Mentally. It's like, I'm not even. Again, it's not against the person or the That's the a call. stupid
great.
take, and you're a stupid person. It's not. It's
the
not
fact
even
that
the
it's
person.
national game. You would think Amazon's not going to schedule the Hornets and the whoever the Brooklyn Nets. He might be going nuts over a buzzer beater. Can you imagine that sort of energy around one of those Halliburton threes to hit a game winner? I mean, it might be reckless. It might be out of control. Anyways.
No, okay.
That's
I had
Amazon's
not heard him call a game. So he's going to be on Amazon, you're saying?
Kevin Harlan, Eric Collins. Shout out to Michael Grady. He did radio when I was interning back in Indy, and now he's doing play-by-play.
Okay.
So
all right, there we go.
Noted. At least on this end. Go ahead.
I said during what's trending, we were talking about the All-Star game and some of the invites. Maikel Garcia on Monday was passed over once. Like, okay, snub. Then we said, well, maybe there's some alternates. There's an alternate infielder. It ends up being Caglianone.
We're like, okay, fine.
Then yesterday, another alternate opportunity. It goes to McKinstry or whatever from the Tigers.
Yeah. And like again, the issue is that if you look at, because I understand, I don't have the home runs or whatever.
Passed over 3 times.
He's not better than Zach McKinstry. Zach McKinstry doesn't have some monster numbers either. He has a worse batting average. He has a similar on-base percentage. He has a better OPS, but not significantly. He has 7 home runs, 28 RBI, 13 stolen bases. He's a 2.7 WAR player. Zach McKinstry has had a nice year.
But here's the problem. This goes back to where Maikel was in a bad spot in the fan voting. He was 7th in the fan voting. Well, in the replacements for injured players,
shouldn't matter.
I finally found the answer. We were wondering if this is an Aaron Boone thing, if this is a Major League Baseball. Here's your answer. If a fan-elected starter is unable to play, so basically the starter, okay, they are replaced in the starting lineup by the player on the roster who received the next most votes on the player ballot. The roster replacement is then chosen by the league, but that just gives you, basically, if Maikel would have been much higher on the original fan vote.
Some of it's our fault for not voting enough.
I think so.
But he has more home runs, more RBIs, more stolen bases. He's got a better batting average and on-base percentage. He has been a better player than McKinstry, and I don't like this system. I still love the conspiracy theory that it's just Boone doing this because he doesn't want Jazz Chisholm and Maikel Garcia having to play in a team together. But if Major League Baseball can step in any other circumstance, why not give the player, the more deserving player, by statistic measures, the player who has been better in every offensive category between the two of them? Home runs, RBIs, stolen bases, batting average, on base percentage.
He's had the better
and
season.
WAR.
Yeah, he's had the better
player.
season, but it just sounds like the fan vote on the replacement end weighs more than we thought when it comes to replacement from a starter. And otherwise, I think the Royals are getting hurt on this because they're below 500 baseball team, and the Tigers are the best team in baseball.
I know. And look, the Tigers deservingly
They
had
have
4
5.
All-Stars
5
before
now, I
that
think,
one.
yeah.
Now they have 5 because McKinstry. And I'm not arguing the fact that they deserve to have more All-Stars than the Royals. They've been the best team in baseball for a huge chunk of the year. They are deserving of those things. I'm not trying to deny it or step outside that system. I understand why and how they've come to that point. But it just, I don't know, man. A lot of it is I just feel bad for Maikel Garcia. Yeah, maybe some of this is our fault. We didn't vote enough because the Royals, in the middle of the All-Star voting, were going through a slide, and then maybe people just came up short on it. But it's not all fan voting either anymore. It's a mix of things sometimes. And so it's just, we've taken over fan voting before. Maybe just the energy wasn't there this time. I still feel bad for Maikel Garcia, and I think the better players should get to play. I don't think McKinstry should get to play over him. He said it is what it is. He's taking it well. And maybe because the Royals are going to need a lot of winning in the second half in order to continue to make up the ground in which they're at. Maybe this is another one of those driving things. Oh, you're leaving our guy out? Okay. Oh, no Bobby in the home run derby? No Bobby's the starter? Okay. Like for the same reasons we started the Wittizens, which is Bobby Witt Jr. wasn't the All-Star game starter, even though he is the best shortstop in baseball and was having a better season.
Yeah, depending on the health of Wilson, There's, I guess, still there's a chance that he ends up starting anyway.
Maybe we brought that into the world. The Wittison movement.
Well, I don't want anybody to get
Jacob
hurt. I don't want anybody to get hurt. But Jacob Wilson got hit by a pitch the other night, and he's day-to-day. Luckily, he did not fracture his wrist. So,
yeah.
But I wonder now if the A's say, well, we're not going to push this. Maybe he doesn't play in the All-Star game. That's not official or anything. It's something to watch. There is still, I would say, like a 10% chance.
Man, if I were him,
Bobby ends up starting. If Jacob Wilson, they're going to hold him out. Maybe we'll know later this week.
I mean, if I were him, how many All-Star games am I going to get to start with Bobby Witt Jr.?
Sure.
In the American League. I probably.
This could be it if you're Jacob Wilson.
If I'm Jacob Wilson, I'm doing whatever I can, even if it's an inning. I'm doing whatever I can to be standing at shortstop for the All-Star game as a rookie in that spot. But it does stink that this just feels like the year of the disrespect in small ways, not huge ways, for the Royals in that category. I'm not pretending like they're a great team. Yeah. But I've been through the years when they only got the one guy in because they legally are required to. And I wasn't out here banging the table for some other all-star to get in alongside Ken Harvey. Yeah. It's cool.
Now that the alternates have been selected, though, Maikel Garcia might be the number 1 or number 2 biggest snub in baseball to not get an all-star appearance, though, this year. And then there's some other guys. We've talked about Carlos Estevez. We've talked about Seth Lugo. Estevez, I think, has a case. He, once again, now after his save last night, he's tied for the league lead. Yeah, so whatever. Someone was asking about Salvador Perez. Is this the first time he hasn't been an all-star? No, in 2022 he wasn't, and then he was hurt in 2019, and then his first 2 years. But he's been an all-star 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, I believe, in 14 years.
Yeah, I mean, and this year he had a bad year.
Oh, yeah, nobody's debating whether or not he should be an all-star, I don't think.
He's playing a lot better. God, I want the sweep so bad now because we get him right to 500 before the All-Star break. Just dead on 500. But 2 out of 3, that would feel like a massive win, right? With 6 games to go before the All-Star break, if you win 5 out of 6, you're only 2 games below 500, a couple games out of a playoff spot, and then riding into it. This Mets series is really going to kind of set a tone before, unfortunately, which this happens all the time, you got to take a week off right as you're playing your best baseball.
Figures.
What kind of luck is that?
Of course.
That's where you just really.
That's why it's the rest of this week, but also I want to see what's their first series look like after the All-Star break in terms of, hey, the offense is looking better, but it's still a small sample size. What do they do against good competition this weekend? And then what do they do in that first series after the break? And if the offense can carry into basically the Monday after the All-Star break, if the offense is still doing this thing, then I'll start believing that they maybe have actually truly figured this thing out.
I think you'll be a believer. If they sweep this weekend, you're going to be back in, I think.
I want to see what they do in the
first series after.
Yeah, because if the offense just disappears again, then we're right back where we were at.
It's tough. I am excited to see Jack Caglianone hit some more homers.
Yeah, they're 2. So if they swept, they actually would be above 500.
They're only 2 games. Yeah, you're right.
So they're either going to be up. Yeah, there's no way for them to be 500 at the break unless the game got canceled, I guess, or something.
And then made up later against the Mets?
It's not happening. The weather also looks pretty decent for the most part. Saturday, maybe not, but
I'd probably just play a doubleheader.
Are you ready for Saturday night?
Yeah, sure.
You ready? KC Current Media game?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the normal amount of ready, I would say. You?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I didn't play in the Current one last year. So I did the sporting one.
It was 4th of July weekend.
That's
I think the timing just worked out poor. I had I was out of town. That's where it was. I was at a dance contest.
We didn't go to practice though. Are we on the 8 ball? We didn't. We didn't go to the media practice. I played like Tuesday. 10 days,
at this point,
we're ready. We're ready.
The practice part of it.
Stretch beforehand, Cody. You'll be good.
Always stretch before that. Yeah. I've been. I guess. You've been running more? Are you in better shape now?
I actually, when I played the sporting game, I noticed I was not as worn out after playing in the game.
See. That means it's
got to stay hydrated. Though it's gonna be a little humid.
It's always humid. It's Kansas City in July. That goes back to the same thing with this and camp and everything else in between and the positions we're in.
Yeah.
Don't forget, by the way, this Sunday it'll be a little hot, but you'll be okay because we'll be giving you free Bobby Witt Jr. haircuts if you want them to compete in our Bobby Witt Jr. lookalike contest. You do not have to get the haircut. You don't have to also compete in the lookalike contest. Seems kind of silly to maybe not do that, and to compete in the lookalike contest, you don't have to get a haircut. We also have wigs available for people who are going to be out there for our Wittizens launch. Go show them your computer real quick. It says Senior Wittizens on there. That's what Alex and I have dubbed ourselves, the Senior Wittizens. We're trying to recruit other Wittizens to join us in a Bobby Witt Jr., very important, sanctioned
Officially sanctioned.
fan club, which means they're going to allow us to be outside of Gate B for Bobby and have those barbers cutting hair and have you all out for the lookalike contest with the winner getting a chance to sit by Alex and I in the Crown Club for the game that day. Tell you what, you get a little hot on Sunday. You get those tickets, you just go underneath. Air-conditioned area full of food, Gold.
Yeah, we'll be part of that 9%. Drinks on the job.
Is it count as a job if it's a Sunday? Even if I'm kind of working?
It shouldn't, but we are kind of working.
Tough call. I don't think that should count towards the 9%.
It shouldn't.
But I do think it also still somehow counts as drinking on the job.
Yes.
It's both. It's somehow both. I don't want it to count against the actual numbers.
But yeah, stop by Gate B either way and say hello on Sunday morning out there at Kaufman.
I see you've been sharing the link till your Caitlin
Well,
Clark
people
card
are
goes
asking.
live tomorrow.
Yeah, people are asking. Someone says, Alex, I never heard what you got for your card at auction. Well, it hasn't gone yet. Tomorrow night, and it's on auction for like 28 days, so it's going to be a long couple weeks. And it's going to start off slow, is my guess. And there's other Caitlin Clark cards in the auction. There's like 500 items in this auction that starts tomorrow night. The number one item is a Caitlin Clark 101 logo. They used to call it Logo Man for the men's side, but Logo Woman for the WNBA. And that card might, I'm not even kidding, it'll set a record for Caitlin Clark. The other one sold for $307,000. This card might sell for $450,000 to $500,000. Not mine. Not mine. This card that we're talking about.
Then you would be buying a house.
Oh, well, yeah.
Then you'd be good to go.
We'd be having a heck of a time.
The taxes would be kind of a nightmare this week, but
yeah. No, yeah. At that point, we would be buying some property at that point.
yeah, I would say so.
No, that is not. I wish I
I
wish
if I had that kind of dough, I would
wish
just
I
buy
had
the
that
Harrison
card.
Ford whip instead.
$250,000 Harrison
buying the
Ford
card.
Could you
I'm
imagine
buying that instead of the Caitlin Clark.
Someone
If I
just-
had that kind of dough,
Someone lives in an apartment but they have this $250,000 Harrison Ford Indiana Jones whip from the movie.
I can imagine. Hey, hon, I just won. I just got $500,000 from this card. I've already taken. We have 250 of it to spend. Well, what happened with the other 250? I bought
But
Harrison
yes,
Ford.
if you guys want to bid on the Caitlin Clark card, by all means, please do.
I'm just saying,
Please
like,
do.
given the choices, I would probably, if instead of the Caitlin Clark Logo Woman one, I would probably own Harrison Ford's whip from Indiana Jones. Screen used, it says.
Oh,
screen.
I mean, they have some really cool stuff on there. And we still might have Ken Golden, the guy that runs the whole and owns the whole thing on. But yeah, some of the items they have are nuts. That are on the. You're looking at the pop culture.
Dude, there's an actual painting by Bob Ross. The Bob Ross.
Yeah, there's also
I get a real painting from
the
it.
Bob Ross
in the
the Ohio State the Bob Ross.
There's some sick Patrick Mahomes stuff too on here.
Hey, are
Cars
you guys
and stuff?
So one of the things that popped up on here is a thing that's come up recently. Do you guys have any idea what these Labubu things are?
What? Yeah, this is another popular collectible
It's a
thing.
very, very popular collectible thing. I have no idea.
Labubu?
I think it might be kind of like when Supreme was doing a really good job advertising their stuff and it was going for big money. I genuinely don't know about it. If somebody knows about it, I'd be interested to learn. I'm trying to buy one.
Yeah,
I'm just
but
curious what
it's
happened.
very popular, and I have no idea what it is really.
You said it's called Labubu?
Labubu. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but I'm assuming it is based on the way
I know exactly what you're talking about. It was at Fanatics Fest too. They were selling them there, and I
Really?
don't know what the whole story behind it is though.
They're limited. They're numbered. A popular collectible toy from Pop Mart, created by Hong Kong artist Casing Lung, is what it says. But I don't know.
How do you even get something like that to pop off as well as it has? Like if it's something that's brand new, like how do you
Like,
have connection?
the reason why like a collectible, like I mean, think about the Beanie Baby stuff back in the day. Now they also had to deal with McDonald's at the time too, but. Just, people, influencers nowadays, probably influencers, people start talking about it and people feel like there's value. Celebrities think it's valuable, then people start doing it. But
like there's normal.
the collectible dolls are now in a $1.8 billion business. The ones you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's now like a $1.8 billion company or something.
There's
crazy.
There's lots of regular ones you can just buy for. They kind of feel like the Funko Pops to me in a way. Like there's lots of regular ones you can just buy for like 20, 30, 40 bucks. One I imagine my daughter will ask me for sometime in the next 6 months. But then there's the ones that are like limited edition and numbered, and